Hello, hello. Let me make sure I got everything where it needs to be. Yep. No, not that.
We want that. That is what we want. That is what we want. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of Left Coast Live. Thank you for joining the Left Coast as always. It's a solo stream at the moment. Deter should be in a little over an hour. So I'm just going to basically warm up. I'm going to be the warm up act for the actual main show, I guess you can say. But there is so much to talk about. I really don't even know where to start. Let's see here. You're gonna have to forgive me. Usually, um, am I even am I live or not? I can't tell if I'm live. God damn, dude. I don't know why this tends to happen. Yeah, I'm live. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing. Is it? This is annoying. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so yeah, okay, it all works. Oh my god! Welcome, everybody, one and all. I know there's nobody friggin' here yet, but God, what an insane week it's been, huh? How is everybody? How's the first week of Trump's second term going for you guys? I think we're going to start off just looking all the way back to first couple days and then just make our way forward. There's literally so much. It is absolutely insane just how much is being done in such a short amount of time. A lot of scrolling to do. You're gonna have to forgive me. Yeah, I mean, we might as well just cover like how my Twitter has been for the past week. So for the last show that we did, we briefly covered Elon Musk's gesture. So many we our media is just so fucking full of cowards. Oh, that's good. What the hell was that? I am not ready to stream. It's late. Okay, so I do want to put this out there. We truly do have a media that's full of outright cowards. Ever since Trump took office, it has been just an absence of proper coverage of what's been going on. But that's kind of the key thing is there's such a blitzkrieg, and I don't use that word lightly, of executive actions, executive orders that it's impossible for any sane person to keep up with. The things that Trump is doing would be stories for days on end, and we're getting like 78 of those at once. And then on the other hand, you have the media that's not even covering the Elon Musk thing properly. Like he's clearly giving a Nazi salute, and you're gonna dismiss it as an awkward gesture. Grow some balls. It's pathetic. Yeah, and the other thing too is if you say you're a friend of Israel, of course, Israeli officials will dismiss it, downplay it. It's like, oh, well, as long as you're loyal to us and you support us and you constantly praise us and tell the world that, we'll look the other way when you act like a fucking Nazi. Because the Israeli government is full of them. Like, I don't even know where to start, guys. I really don't. I have no idea how to start off this stream. I don't know how to do this show. I don't even know where to begin. There is so much erosion happening at once. It's terrifying. It's literally it's shock and awe. That's the method being used right now. It is such an endless onslaught of destruction with no rhyme or reason. Well, that we know of so far, and they don't give a fuck who's caught in the crossfire. This is already affecting all kinds of people. All right, let's see. Where should we start? I mean, seriously, is Elon Musk this brilliant genius, or is he a confused fucking moron? Excuse me. You could play peekaboo with half of this country and it would genuinely work. Well, okay. Okay, I guess we can talk about this. Yeah, I tweeted this. So I tweeted this back on the 22nd. It was day 3 of Trump's presidency. And if you notice today the markets are tanking, as I said in my video that I put out last night. And I said nobody's been asking for AI yet. Trump announced yesterday that he's giving a $500 billion to tech oligarchs for AI infrastructure, and the only people that benefit from this are the ultra rich. No price cutting, no health care, no reduction to the cost of living, nothing being done about eggs, groceries, none of that. It's unbelievable. Why are you still on Elon? Well, here's why. Let's see. Duplicate. No. All right. Where can I find this? There was nothing in the executive order for amount to go to AI. It was investment over a certain time frame. Oil cost, by the way, which lowers the cost of everything. does he even have the power to do that? Can he just like tell companies like, "Hey, this costs this much now"? I I don't know about that. The reason I'm still on the Elon thing is because he just recently talked to I think it's the AfD party in Germany, and that is a neo-Nazi party. He straight up told them that you should not be ashamed of your history and not be ashamed of the Holocaust, essentially. And he's been on this crusade lately of emboldening right wing parties, right wing figures in various countries, Italy, Japan, uh, Canada, and Germany. It's like he's trying to speed run reuniting all the Axis powers or whatever. Like obviously excluding Canada, but he's a fucking Nazi. He comes from the Nazi back. You know what? I'm actually going to bring this up. I think it's worth watching on stream. Advice from Lewis. All right. All right. Yeah, this breaks it down better than I ever could. Listen to a specific amount, then it's a worthless order. You can make economic moves to lower prices, which is more effective than price caps. What kind of economic moves? It was like after this you already spoke. Talk about a cultural identity that's spoken that immigrants should assimilate. They have. What what is he what is he talking about? I mean, okay. I mean, like Japan, Italy, and Germany were the Axis powers, weren't they? All right, let's watch this. No, I know, Megan. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh my God. I I just realized I don't even have the fucking right proper. I don't even have the fucking proper tab up. Give me a second. God damn it, dude. Share screen. Yeah, this is it. Okay. Cultural identity is important to a nation as it was important to that culture. I mean, sure, if if you're a nationalist, I mean, I think yeah. Let's reduce limitations on AI to incentivize U.S. productions, not to give them money. Well, it was kind of like it was almost like a promise anyway, because these tech billionaires, these tech oligarchs, are the ones who propped up um, Trump's campaign and pushed him over the edge to get into the White House. Like, there's a lot of money invested in Trump, and so of course, like within the first few days of his um, presidency, he's going to announce Stargate and give them this big deal. I mean, you didn't even really need to incentivize them that much. They were already going to do it here. Like this is just all the tech bros basically stroking themselves off because like, oh, we have the president behind us. This is going to get a shitload of money now, and now it's all for naught. But we'll get to that. This culture's pro burgers and anti. I I'm I guess. I guess it depends on where you look. I'm pro taxes, so please explain why nationalism is bad. Because it's God. How do I even say this? It is low effort globalism. It is small scale globalism. It's yeah. It's just it's small world thinking. Like it's one thing to want to do the best for your country and want your countries to succeed and whatnot, but at the expense of what? This cultural hegemony should reign. Stargate should reign. They're not doing here only. Why though? Why does it have to? Why does it have to be us? Why does it have to be Stargate? This one anti-joking. Okay. Opposite of globalism? No, no, it's not. It's what is the actual low ambition globalism? Like you want to make a country great, right? It, 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 it's just thinking small. The opposite of globalism would be anarchism. It would be like primitivism. All right, let's actually get to the video I was going to watch. Why are you preferential to countries that withstand these cultural standards in the AI race? What cultural standards? Are you talking about China? I don't give a fuck about China. I just like the fact that Silicon Valley is taking a shit right now. All right, let's actually get to this video. Okay, this is really, really important.
Elon Musk is following Hitler's blueprint. Did a little bit of digging after he visited the AfD rally in Germany. AfD is basically far-right Germany. They're known for being neo-Nazis. He was telling them not to be ashamed of their past, their history, or their culture, to be proud of who they are and their history. He said their kids shouldn't be affected for what their great-grandparents did, and their great-grandparents shouldn't even be ashamed. While looking at
so this is as bold-faced as it gets. You know what the underlying tone is? Like the undertone of this is don't worry about being compared to Nazis. Don't worry about your history. Just ignore it. Trump, Elon Musk's gesture was literally censored in Germany because it is illegal to Sieg Heil in Germany. So why, if he's not a Nazi, and we're going to get into this in this video, why, if he's not a Nazi, would he speak to like a neo-Nazi party in Germany?
Hitler didn't just say, hey, everybody, go get the Jewish people. Hitler had these exact same sentiments to the Germans. See, after World War I, there was already a lot of Jew hate, but it was mainly in Russia. Hitler actually served as a soldier in Germany during World War I. And when they lost, they were looking for someone to blame it on. There was this rumor going around that it was Jewish people's fault because they stabbed them in the back. That was the rumor. Hitler bought into this. Is this sounding familiar yet? I can't get a job because of me. I can't get a job because of this person that doesn't look like me. We need to put America first. Before the Holocaust, they had a saying to put Germans first. It gets crazier. So Hitler bought into the rhetoric that Jews stabbed them in the back, started spreading this propaganda to everybody he knew. He told them we lost the war because of Jews and we're in a major economic crisis because of Jewish people. And the solution is to eradicate Jewish people. I'm going to relate this to Elon Musk and his Nazi salute from 2 days ago and his rally in AfD today. Hitler created a national enemy that everybody could get behind. Wait, my life's bad because of Jewish people? You telling me I hate everything right now because of Jews? I'm poor because of Jews? What does that sound like? DEI, affirmative action. It's
bingo. Okay. Let's see. Give me 1 second. How about this? Okay. I can't find it, Megan. I'm sorry. God fucking damn it. Shit. Okay, back to the fucking video.
him strong enough to win the elect thing to put Germans first. It gets crazier. So Hitler bought into the rhetoric that Jews stabbed them in the back, started spreading this propaganda to everybody he knew. He told them we lost the war because of Jews and we're in a major economic crisis because of Jewish people. And the solution is to eradicate Jewish people. I'm going to relate this to Elon Musk and his Nazi salute from 2 days ago and his rally in AFD today. Hitler created a national enemy that everybody could get behind. Wait, my life's bad because of Jewish people? You telling me I hate everything right now because of Jews? I'm poor because of Jews. What does that sound like? DEI, affirmative action. It's the immigrants. Back to Hitler, not Elon.
It's like poetry. It rhymes. History rhymes.
Hitler's arguments and reasons for this made him strong enough to win the election because of his promise to make Germany a great economic place again. What does that sound like to you? Make America great again. Here's what's insane, what we're living in right now. Once Hitler got into power, he started creating more and more laws for Jewish people. It kept getting tighter and tighter and tighter. What does that sound like? EI, affirmative action. If you don't know, Trump just removed the Tuskegee's history from our history books and the Air Force. Tuskegees were the first black airmen to serve the United States. Back to Hitler, he's justifying and tighter and tighter and tighter
Don't
on the
think
Jewish
that's a
people's
problem?
freedom. We need to put Germans first. Didn't Trump say he's on a mission to fire all DEIs in the government? How are you going to figure that out?
What exactly is a DEI hire? Why is it bad? How do you know who is or isn't one? It's just a smokescreen. It's just a cover. They don't like it's fucking white nationalism. There's no other way. There's literally no fucking other way to describe it. That's literally what it is. Getting rid of DEI, getting rid of affirmative action, getting rid of you literally cannot even sue your employer for discrimination. Trump just took that away.
Back to Hitler. It got to the point that they removed citizenship from Jews. What does that sound like? And he was described as having a psychopath.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, it's not DEI to teach history. No fucking kidding.
Hatred for Jews. You can't come out and say this. You have to slowly get everybody on the train and convince them and justify poor treatment of those individuals. Now, what does that sound like? It is the exact same history of slavery. Took a couple African studies classes and American history class. Dude, what does that sound like? It got to the point that they removed citizenship from Jews. What does that sound like? And he was described.
You know what that sounds like? It sounds like Trump trying to end birthright citizenship, meaning anyone born on U.S. soil who wasn't who was born to people who aren't citizens doesn't count. He's literally trying to, like, the day fucking one. I brought it up This is something that they're fucking insane. They're trying to do this. The only thing holding them back is the 14th Amendment. And now you have all these ICE raids going on across the fucking country. And Trump's increasing the quota. Like, you need to make this many arrests a day. How the fuck does he know that there's that many people in this country? How does he know?
Is having a psychopathic hatred for Jews. You can't come out and say this. You have to slowly get everybody on the train and convince them and justify poor treatment of those individuals. Now, what does that sound like? It is the exact same history of slavery. I took a couple African studies classes and American history classes while I was in college, got A's in all of them. Did you know one of the ways they used to convince themselves that it was okay to treat slaves poorly, to make things up about them? They would say they have tougher skin so they can take the whips. They would say, well, we're giving them a food and bed. They had to call them property because they were fighting their own guilt. They had to justify and justify and justify back to.
That is essential to dehumanization.
Hitler. You know, there's still people justifying the Holocaust, specifically Nazis. They say such things as, if I didn't do it, I would have been shot. Would have been shot. You weren't even at war. You were the aggressor. You were doing the shooting. But you see, they have to.
Isn't that so fucking telling? Like, if you disobey orders, you're in danger. Fucking absolutely insane. People really do not fucking learn deeply enough about the Nazi Party.
To justify and because they know they're wrong and the guilt is too much for them to bear. Can't say I can treat this person bad because they deserve it. You have to say I can treat this person bad because they deserve it, because this is my country and not that. There always has to be some justification. Elon Musk recently attended the AfD rally in Germany. The AfD is a far right-wing Germany party known to be neo-Nazi. It arose right after Germany defunded another party that was straight up neo-Nazis. As I said in the beginning, he went there and told them that they should be proud of their culture and history. This takes place 2 days after he Nazi saluted twice on stage and never denied it, by the way. Even if he did.
Never denied it. He never fucking denied it.
Now, we already know what he did. He's had these Nazi allegations for a long time, and he used to repost things on X all the time about how Jewish people had a hatred against whites and just conspiracy theories. Here's where
that is what led to multiple advertisers dropping from Twitter and what led to him having a meltdown. Like, because any sane, any rational person would react to that fucking you have said the actual truth comment to that great replacement theory tweet. Any rational and sane person would be like, I want nothing to fucking do with you.
Where it gets even crazier. I'm actually going to drop a deep dive against whites and just conspiracy theories. Here's where it gets even crazier. I'm actually going to drop a deep dive on this. I looked into Elon Musk's grandparents' history. See, Elon Musk.
Listen to this. This is Elon Musk's Nazi history, his family's Nazi history, laid out full frontal.
As said that Elon's grandparents are both Nazis. Elon Musk's wife's parents, so Elon Musk's grandparents, are Nazis. They would write about the same conspiracies about Jewish people. Elon Musk's dad said it was so bad that he had to stop going to his wife's house because he would try to correct them. And then they would say he's no longer allowed over at the house and try to get her to break up with him because that's
how. Now, why would they do that? Why would they be so quick to cut someone off because of political differences?
How deep-rooted it is. I'll give you some more examples. Elon Musk's grandparents moved to South Africa because they agreed with the apartheid of the government. That was the sole reason for going. They knew the government was a strong believer in Nazism outside of Germany. Before they were in South Africa, they lived in Canada, where Elon's grandfather wrote.
And then, if you guys forget, Elon Musk took a trip to Israel in late 2023.
That he sympathized with the Nazis. He was a radical
in apartheid government, by the way.
Conspiracy theorist, where Elon's grandfather wrote that he sympathized with the Nazis. He was a radical conspiracy theorist that expressed racist.
His wife's grandparents.
Anti-Semitic, anti-democratic views.
And his own grandparents.
Does the apple not fall far from the tree? Let's go a little bit deeper. Second, Elon's grandfather got to South Africa. He told a reporter, words out of his mouth, I came here for the apartheid government. Elon's grandfather believed in a Jewish domination plot. Who does that sound like? If it rhymes with Fittler, you are correct. Elon's grandparents also said they went to South Africa because they were leading a white Christian civilization that was against their Jewish conspiracy to rule the world. All of this is fact checked. I went to his writings. There is currently a video on the internet of Elon's dad saying out of his mouth, yes, his grandparents were Nazis that supported Hitler, which led me to do this digging in the first place. His words fall true. Now remember, this is the grandparents of Elon's mother's side. So his dad may not be a Nazi. Overall, we seem to be following the exact blueprint that Hitler did in Germany, which led to the Holocaust. America's following the exact blueprint Hitler made for Germany, and Elon Musk saluted on stage twice and now went to an AfD far extremist right party in Germany that's known for being neo-Nazis, telling them to be proud of who they are. Germans first, America first, laws against these people, DEI, affirmative action. We are literally reliving history. They used to say history has a strange way of repeating itself. I've done extensive research on all these topics. I don't even know if anybody else could have made these connections. I wouldn't have even made this video if Elon didn't attend the AfD rally in Germany and tell them to be proud of their history. And for those with too low of an IQ to understand that you're being gaslighted.
He's had a few different wives, Megan. I'm not exactly sure what specific one.
Print Hitler made for Germany, and Elon Musk saluted on stage twice and now went to an AfD far extremist right party in Germany that's known for being neo-Nazis.
If it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck.
To be proud of who they are. Germans first, America first, laws against these people, DEI, affirmative action. We are literally reliving history. They used to say history has a strange way of repeating itself. I've done extensive research on all these topics. I don't even know if anybody else could have made these connections. I wouldn't have even made this video if Elon didn't attend the AfD rally in Germany and tell them to be proud of their history. And for those with too low of an IQ to understand that you're being gaslighted, or maybe you're not, maybe you're like Elon and you just need to justify and justify and justify, which is why you behave this way. This is who you are. So if you are justifying this behavior, understand that everybody else knows what you are. And it's time to look in the mirror and tell yourself what you are.
Professor Reich, good to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Okay. Let's see. Let me actually take a look here. Do. Come on. Come on. I don't know. Was it fucking? I know it wasn't Grimes. Was it Justine? Canadian author. It had to have been Justine. Of course, there's not much information that you can really even find on her. I'm fucking looking everywhere. But I mean, what else is there to deny about that video, though? Yeah, I mean, Megan, do you really think that Elon Musk isn't a Nazi? Like this stuff about his grandparents is like widely. I've known about this shit for years. Like the South Africa shit and Angela Merkel. It's Angela Merkel's party. No. The CDU? No. The Christian Democratic Union? Here. Angela Merkel, Chancellor of Germany, as leader of the Christian Democratic Union, her whole career. Not the AFD, the CDU. Oh, no, not that. Where are you? CDU, CSU. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's not Angela. The AFD is not Angela Merkel's party. Yeah, she's a liberal. Yeah, I'm maybe he's talking about his parents. I don't fucking know. I miss that in particular. Whatever. Elon Musk is a Nazi. End of story. I won't hear anymore. Oh God, what else? What fucking else? Yeah, I mean, how much how blatant do we have to get? Like how? Like clearly he's just giving his heart. Yeah, and so are these fine people, very fine people on the left. All right. Yeah, so about those January 6th rioters and whatnot. I mean, we believe in law and order in this country, right? I'm sure the six of you watching would agree. Uh, say hi, by the way, and make sure you guys are subscribed. Deter should be here in about maybe 45 minutes. Yeah, it's terrible that we like I'm speaking on behalf of Trump here, but it's basically the logic. It's terrible that we allow such violence in this country, violent criminals to walk free, thugs assaulting our police officers. Anyway, I'm pardoning everyone who stormed the Capitol on January 6th, especially the violent ones and those who assaulted police officers. Yeah, and you guys know why you guys know why he did that, right? Um, he can use them again. He knows that there are people loyal like that can do his dirty work for him, and and all he has to do is just give them pardons again. They're not bound by, I mean, unless like local police arrest them, but with how fucked everything is now, I don't have much confidence in that. Mina Lita, hello, thank you for joining. Do this spastic. Obviously, the Nazi salute was a bit jerky. Yeah, I mean it was awkward as fuck, but there's no denying what it was. A member of CDU. I mean that doesn't. Oh, okay. What else? Woke sermon. Yeah, this is okay. So no, god damn it. This is something I've actually wanted to make a full video about. Yeah, but I don't think that makes Angela Merkel a Nazi. If that's the point you're trying to make. So, I'm actually going to try to make a full video about this, but this tickled everybody's fancy earlier this week. And wokeness, an account on Twitter that posts a whole lot of retarded dog crap fucking daily, day in and day out. JD's face at the woke sermon says it all. So this bishop gave a sermon basically saying, blessed are the merciful. You should show mercy on, the vulnerable, like immigrants, the LGBTQ. And of course, that's way too woke for some people. I guess like the teachings of Jesus Christ, woke as hell. Alpha woke. 10 Commandments, woker than the wokiest woke. And basically, the video is about going to be about there's an inevitable reckoning coming between conservatives and Christianity. And at this point, I'm using the word conservatism loosely because these are fascists. The Trump administration is full of fascists. Trump is a fascist. JD Vance is a fascist. Elon Musk is a fascist. They are fascists. But conservatives follow them. So at some point in the future, they're going to have to reconcile their faith in God and Jesus or King Trump. Powerful men don't like women. Yeah, powerful men do not like women, suggesting that they stop being a fucking dick. Yeah, they're very, very, very insecure. AFD is not Nazi. I'm not convinced. Sorry. I mean, if you're having Elon Musk show up at your party's conference, who did a Sieg Heil and didn't deny it, and is literally spouting Nazi adjacent rhetoric to you, and none of them are denouncing it or distancing themselves from him, they're fucking Nazis. Yeah, I mean, they didn't know what trans kids were back then, so I mean, not to mention, I mean, is being trans a sin? Why are trans people being punished? Why even pass an executive order or an executive action that says there's only there's only two genders, male and female, in this country? The first day, it's pointless. No, that's okay. Megan, do you believe that the government should be interfering in the way that parents raise their kids? Do you think that the government should dictate what is or what isn't the most agreed upon methods for taking care of their kids? Yeah, I want to show you something. This has been widely known about for a while. Hormone replacement therapy, suicide rates. This has been known about for a while. Hormone therapy linked to lower suicide risk for trans youth, study finds. This is from 2021. This has been understood and studied extensively for a long time. Based on 9,000 transgender non-binary youths from the age of 13 to 24 who provide data on blah, 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 blah. You get it. Now, there's a difference between like actual hormonal therapy and just transitioning physically. What next comment? Angela Merkel's not even in office anymore. She left like in 2018. For he who's least among you all is yeah, not Elon. That's a Jesus quote, right? If I'm not mistaken. Prevent abuse. Well, you're going to have to demonstrate that it's abuse because, according to basically every institution that takes care of trans kids, that oversees everything, doesn't consider it abuse. Hello, Solenia. Thank you for joining a recent video. The guy confused Prussia with Russia. Prussia is and was. That's right. That's right. Yeah. So, Advice from Lewis is an upcoming YouTube account. I don't. A lot. I've known a lot about what he spoke of in that video. Aside from like the Russian Jewish thing and stabbing in the back, what the rumor that it was the Jews that betrayed them, and a couple other claims he made. So I don't know. Megan might have a point. I want to know exactly what wife he's referring to because I think Elon's been married like 2 or 3 times. Let's not read the article. I don't like. I mean, I could. All right. Okay. I am doing a show after all, and I thought this would be like common knowledge already, but I realized I do have. For as long as I live, I'm going to have to reiterate multiple things that a lot of people tend to either ignore or don't really know anything about. So, gender affirming hormone therapy is strongly linked to a lower risk of suicide and depression for transgender youths, according to the first large scale studies to examine the issue. Published in the Journal of Adolescent Health, more than 9,000 trans, 9 barony, Trevor Project, LGBTQ Youth Suicide Prevention and Crisis Intervention Group. Young people receiving gender-affirming hormones report a lower likelihood of experiencing recent depression and considering suicide compared to those who wanted but did not receive hormone therapy. For people under 18, receiving hormones was associated with nearly 40% lower odds of recent depression and a past year suicide attempt. It's clear that gender-affirming career has the potential to reduce rates of suicide and depression. While banning this vital care and exposing young people to harmful political rhetoric can cause real harm. You don't fucking say, says Emmett Pally, CEO, Executive Director of the Trevor Project. It's critical that all transgender, non-binary youth across the country have access to medical care that is affirming, patient-centered, and evidence-based. At the time of this was written, more than 20 states have considered bills aiming to ban gender-affirming health care for transgender minors because they just fucking hate them. They just want them to go away. They don't give a. And it's in states. It's in deep fucking red states. I mean, of course, if you want to know more, ACLU talks about that. The cruelty is the point. Yeah, some transgender and non-binary people receive hormone therapy, which could include hormones such as estrogen, testosterone, and other medications to align their appearance and secondary sex characteristics with their gender identity. Hormone therapy is also used to treat many other conditions and illnesses, including cancer, precocious puberty, and the symptoms of menopause. So, if you have any evidence, Megan, that suggests that these drugs are untested, if you have any claims, any evidence supporting those claims, I'd love to hear them because I've been asking the lunatic right wingers online and on Twitter and whatnot for that for forever, and it's either or they just ignore me or they just send me some fucking tabloid that leads to nothing. All right. They're not untested drugs, though. puberty causes for massive kids without drug intervention. The study is for teenagers, and like I said before, it like parental permission is crucial in in these situations, and it's between them and their doctor. Consent needs to go multiple ways before it can even start happening. For kids under that, under the age of 13, it gets a bit more dicier, but still, there is that that infamous clip of let's see, Matt Walsh reacts Joe Rogan trans therapy. I don't fucking know. That's not it. Ha! This is it. Okay. Are you ready? Okay. Watch this. Okay.
It's, I mean,
How many people have had this
I fucking love this clip.
done?
depends on what. I don't think we have exact numbers, but it's if we're talking about the drugs, it's millions.
So on Joe Rogan's podcast, Matt Walsh claims that millions of trans people are on puberty blockers.
You're talking about hormone blockers.
Yeah,
Millions of
blockers
kids have been on hormone blockers. Really?
I'm sure someone's going to fact check me on it, but my guess is that we're into the millions now at this point. Yeah, that would be my guess.
Is that so, Matt?
I can.
This is from late 2022.
Say for double mastectomies, the most I read a report recently that there were over 1,000 done between 2016 and 2019, and when you compare that,
yes, teens are minors, Megan, but if parents give consent and everything's gone over with their doctor, it's not the government's business.
to how many were done between 2008 and 2015, it's a massive increase, and over 1,000 girls had gender affirming double mastectomies in that time frame.
And when you say girls, you're talking about prepubescent,
right? Minors, and that's just up until.
You know why that is, though, right? Fucking, there are such a thing. Okay, let's go over this one more time.
For double mastectomies, the most I read a report recently that there were over 1,000 done between 2016 and 2019, and when you compare that to how many were done between 2008 and 2015, it's a massive increase. And over 1,000 girls had gender affirming double mastectomies in that.
Now, of course, he doesn't back that up, but sometimes teenagers get double mastectomies, or at least reduction surgery. So he might just be lumping all that in here
in that time frame.
And when you say girls, you're talking about prepubescent,
right? Minors, and that's just up until 2019, and then we know that there's been this exponential increase with all this stuff year over year. So it's a lot. It's too many.
Exponential increase.
Having this happen to one kid is way too many. It's a lot more than one.
Yeah, look,
it's weird because like on his show, he speaks so much more confidently than he is right here.
If you're an adult and you want to do that and you understand who you are and what you are, and this is how you feel you should progress, you're an adult. This is a free country. You should be able to do whatever you want. But when you're talking about doing that to children, the fact that so many people are on board and so many people are angry.
You're right. A lot of them do end up waiting because, like, even if you get the reduction surgery, they still grow. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
If you have people are going to be angry at us that we're having these conversations.
Yeah, they will be. And I also I actually think that that this shouldn't be happening to.
You sound so nervous.
Very small number, if that's right.
It says over the last 5 years, there were at least 4,780 adolescents who started puberty blockers.
What was that number again?
If that's right.
It says over the last 5 years, there were at least 4,780 adolescents who started puberty blockers.
Very small number.
One more
if that's
time,
right.
Joe.
It says over the last 5 years, there were at least 4,780 adolescents who started puberty blockers.
Okay, wait. I was told it was in the millions. What was that number again over the last 5 years between 2017 and 2022?
4,780 adolescents.
Weird. I've been told by the right wing for years and years and years how widespread and harrowing this crisis is. You're telling me the number is less than 5,000? Huh. It's almost like the entire right-wing media apparatus has been fucking lying. It's almost like they just hate trans people. It's almost like they're just cruel bastards.
Who started puberty blockers and had a prior gender dysphoria diagnosis.
It says it's kind of undercounted.
Selena. Selenia. I won't tolerate any Megan slander in my chat. Megan is a close friend of mine, and I cherish her. We have our disagreements, but I know her in real life, and I adore her very much. I understand it's been a tense stream, but I won't accept that.
But
that would be a big undercounting.
Less than 1,000 people a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would guess hundreds of thousands.
He can't accept it. I would guess hundreds of thousands. Has that number gone up to the hundreds of thousands the past 2 years, Matt?
But I could be wrong.
Million sounds great.
Yeah, I could be.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to find out, huh, man? Me Delita says this dude is so dismissive of minors actually making informed independent decisions, kind of control freak. It really is. Like, I mean, Matt Walsh is one of these creepy fuckos that just want like government domination of the personal lives of its citizens, especially when it comes to LGBTQ.
Yeah. The Media Matters will have fun with that clip.
Yeah.
Matt Walsh.
I'm having fun with that clip, Matt. Oh my god. This turned out to be a fun stream after all. Let's catch up with the comments here. I'm actually getting some interaction tonight. I don't usually get that. It's actually kind of cool. Puberty blockers do not sterilize. That is correct. Taking long term, yes. It has. There's a risk of it. There's a risk of it, but on a long enough timeline after you stop taking them, that risk reduces. If I remember correct, I haven't read up on this shit in years, so you're gonna have to forgive me. Like I'm, because I learned like. We all come to a point in our lives early on where if we're not already exposed to it, if we're not already, familiarized with trans people or, the LGBTQ in general, there's a lot that we're ignorant about. There's a lot that we don't know. And so we can either react with ease and go the bigoted route and just dismiss it like, oh, bunch of freak shows. Or we can quench that curiosity with actual education of ourselves. And so when I got over my confusion and I guess baffling, I guess, of when it came to trans people. Like, all I had to do was just ask them, like, tell me how this works. Tell me how you feel. Tell me what makes you tick and how you got to where you are, what keeps you going, what you require to maintain who and what you are. Dividing line of age 18 to 20 is kind of arbitrary. I'm not sure what this is in reference to, but my thing in general, I consider basically anyone under 23 or 24 to be kids. There's still a whole hell of a lot that you don't know in that early adult age range. He is a Nazi. Doctor Strange. Are you referring to Elon Musk or Matt Walsh? Because, like, I mean, I would agree either way. Megan, I hope you're not doing research in the middle of a stream. By the way, I know you like to do that. I guess we can continue. I'm still back at January 22nd. It's been such a crazy week. Like, so much happened this week that it would take literally like a 3 or 4 hour stream just to fucking cover everything. It's insane. Beauty box of trans stuff. Oh, right. Okay, okay, for the Divine Line. Excuse me. No research tonight, just drunk vibes. Hey, me too. I got this 2014 Zinfandel from the same place I got that Syrah. It's literally this like general store that's just off highway, like I-5, and it's on my route, so it's like on the way home from work. And yeah, just like there's selling like there's this whole rack of wines. They're being sold for $6.99. Good ass deal, and like for old wines too, because like the older the wine, the better it ages and whatnot. It's been good. It's a neat Zinfandel from where the fuck is this from? Oh, it's from Lodi. Lodi, okay. Yeah. So yeah, we're feeling the drunk vibes tonight for sure. Deter says, "Oh, he is ready to stream." Actually, you're damn right it does. I love it. I've been to several wineries there. Ooh, my vibes. You'll find more action. Yeah. Let me actually see if he can join mine. I'm actually going to send him my StreamYard and see if this works. It's been a shit show so far, but I'm gonna see if we can make this work. Yeah. I mean, most Nazis are autistic, but not all autistic people are Nazis. See, I'm already kind of slurring my words a little bit. That's why it's so fucking insulting. All these people trying to downplay Elon Musk's obvious decline and try to say like, oh, he's just an autistic boy. He cut him some slack. Just like, are you fucking stupid? The autistic people just don't fucking like it, how is that an excuse? Like, I've already spoken in length about this, but I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about me. It's gotten better. Like starting off was a mess and a half, but Google Scholar. Is that a real thing? Is that I'm actually interested to know a bit more about that. Link doesn't work. Are you already live? Yes, I am. One sec. Let me see if I can actually make this work for Deter here. See if I can actually have him join in to my stream for a change. Try that. I'll 6 people on features of people grew up with, like maybe. I mean, yeah, and considering Elon Musk comes from a family of Nazis and like his parents owned an emerald mine. Yeah, and you should look into Barron Trump, Megan. That kid has fucking issues. Can you just come in mine without losing yours? Maybe. I could. You know what? I can probably. This might be weird. Okay, I think I can. Okay, so Deter McBusiness, my co-host, has a StreamYard up and running right now. I'm going to try and see if I can keep this one running while I switch over to his, or at least like open up his in a different tab here. Okay, StreamYard.com. Blah blah blah. EK. Do. I hope this works. It'd be really cool if it does. I really hope this works. I don't get it. Hey, there he is right there. I'm joining you right now. I don't know if my hey. I can actually hear myself through your thing. Yeah. Yeah, let me see if I can actually make it so that on my StreamYard, it's just showing me and you in your StreamYard. Let me see if I can actually make that a thing real quick. Just for a second. Yeah, yeah. Okay, let me go ahead and
You merged it? All right, we are live. Welcome to Left Coast Live. It is Monday, January 27th. I am your host, Deter McBusiness, joined as always by Stat Pat, Stateless Patriot. We are California lefties talking to you about national politics, all sorts of chaos going down across the country. Stat Pat, what have you been discussing on your stream thus far? Nazism, yes. The fascist. Nazism, yes. The fascist. Yeah, Joe Rogan's response was particularly interesting, trying to act as if, yeah, he was saying that it was just my heart goes out to you. It's like people are seeing what they want to see, and it wasn't really Sig Heil, right? That's what it's called, a Sig Heil from back in the day. And it absolutely was. Elon is absolutely a Nazi. He did that event with the far right contingent of the German political machine. And I mean, it's just as
we
clear
talked
as
about that
day.
too. Can you guys hear me? According to them, I wasn't audible that whole time. I think I fixed it now though. Can you guys hear me? Let me know. Yeah,
Yeah, you're good now. You're good now.
okay. Cool.
Oh, Megan loves me. This is cool. I'm gonna keep this open so I can see your chat.
Yeah, according to Mina Lita, working now. Yes, it's been an eventful stream, honestly.
How long have you been on for?
An hour and 10 minutes.
Oh wow. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Cool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just got back from lacrosse practice, so
Hell yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it was fun. It was good to get out there with the guys.
Hell
These
yeah.
guys are like 19 and 20 years old, and so they just voted for the first time, and
Really.
it's like, yeah, it just makes me more enthusiastic about our advocacy of uniting Gen Z and millennials so that we can create a new generational political coalition, because the baby boomers are gone and the Gen Xers are very capitalist, as we've talked about. But somebody's got to step up and tell the DNC what they don't want to hear, because there has been way too much capitulation. A lot of these Senate confirmations are going through at like 96, 99 in the affirmative. And it's like, where's the resistance? Where is the goddamn resistance?
It's fucking non-existent. Honestly, it's so pathetic. Like, you see, oh my God, it's been, God, what a week. You see Hakeem Jeffries, like the response to the Trump just literally just wiping the floor with the administrative states and the erosion of all these departments, and just um executive order after executive order after executive action. What is his responsible? Well, Trump may think he is king or whatever the fuck,
dictator.
so, yeah, something like that. But like we know who's really in control, and that's God. It's just like fucking. These are not people. They have no spines. They are fucking worms. I am so sick of them.
Have you been on Blue Sky at all?
A little bit. Like,
You saw my stuff.
I've been on Twitter a whole hell of a lot. I basically copied most of my posts that I put on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I'm going to bring up your
onto
posts, yeah.
onto
Blue Sky.
Onto Blue Sky, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Megan says, just wait for the more controversial people. No pushback. Look at Hegseth. I mean, Hegseth got a lot of pushback. The issue was he's going to get confirmed anyway. That's the thing with all these hearings. It doesn't fucking matter, because they're all going to get the votes. Like 3 Republicans voted against Pete Hegseth, including Mitch McConnell, and he still fucking got through. Mitch McConnell knows just how fucked things are right now. If he's like one of the lone Republicans voting against this fucking unqualified piece of shit. And of course, yeah, Tulsi this week, I think her hearing is on Thursday.
Well, Mitch McConnell's a good example of like an evil genius, where it's like someone that Trump wishes he were as intelligent as, because Mitch McConnell knows how to institute evil within the power structure as it exists. Trump just takes a bulldozer to the power structure.
Yeah.
And that's why no one should ever think of Trump as particularly intelligent. He's just a straight up bully.
Yeah.
He's just got the position on you, right? He's just like one of those athletes that's just bigger than you.
Yeah.
And you got to deal with it. You got to find a way to beat him, even though he has the physical advantage.
Yeah.
And now he's got the cultural advantage. Everybody's thinking that it's cool to be Republican now. It's like, aren't you getting tired of these fucking healthcare premiums? What happened to caring about the environment? Like, aren't you sick of your student loan debt?
Yeah.
Aren't you sick of these absurd credit card, payments that people are having to make? Everyone's drowning in debt. Over half the country is living paycheck to paycheck.
God, yeah, and all this rhetoric has just fucking vanished. Completely vanished. It wasn't even present during Kamala Harris's campaign. So it's like no wonder. Like, people have now that Trump has won, people have so many more things, many more immediate things to worry about. Like people are worried about survival right now.
Well, that's what people are worried about, but the politicians just seem to be worried about maintaining relevance or something, or going along to get along. I mean, this Democratic Party is just spineless.
Yeah.
It is just so spineless.
Yeah.
And the bad news is that even if we were to get rid of Nancy and Chuck like I want, we still got Hakeem Jeffries sitting there waiting in the wings to take power. I mean, I know he's the minority leader in the House now anyway, but I mean, he's a neoliberal corporatist. He's not going to get big change into the conversation for the left. And my frustration with Blue Sky has been because I've seen it as a barometer for where the left is at with respect to wanting a regime change within the Democratic Party. And there is still a lot of love, way too much love, way too much defense for the neoliberal establishment.
Too much.
They criticize you with like, don't attack allies. Don't attack allies. That's the big line.
Yeah.
Whenever I try to bring it up. And then there's also this blaming of the far left for the loss of like, you guys were all about saving Israel, Gaza. You said that was one of your core issues. Well, now look what's going to happen to Gaza as a result. It's like, well, Kamala never came out saying that she was going to save Gaza and take on Netanyahu.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you talking about?
Right.
People think that like it's just like the lesser of two evils is where you and I are at. We're going to support the Democratic Party because we're just loyal enough, I guess. I don't know, but naively loyal. I mean, it's like you can bitch and moan like a child about this contingent of voters not showing up, or you can do something that's going to motivate them to show up. Because they will show up. They showed up in 2008. They showed up in 2020.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's beyond pathetic. Honestly. It's like we talked about in the last stream, like a big reason why a lot of the youth vote under 29 didn't vote for Kamala Harris, didn't even bother to go out and vote at all, is because of the failure to differentiate from Joe Biden on the policy regarding Gaza, regarding Israel. The fact that we're just handing them blank checks to saying like, oh, here's all the fucking weapons you need to fucking genocide an entire ethnic group. And now you have fucking today, or maybe I think it was probably yesterday, Trump saying the quiet part out loud. Oh, we should just clean out the whole place. Give the rest of the Palestinians to Jordan. Give the rest of the Palestinians to Egypt or whoever the fuck. It's like cleaning out a whole ethnic group. I think there's a fucking word for that, isn't there?
Genocide.
God, it's ethnic cleansing. Yeah, fucking. It's like, and now it's like, where is everybody? This has been harped away at for 15 months now, over 15 months. And now, like, Trump's just coming out and just like blatantly saying, it's like Gaza's got beautiful beach sides. It's real nice there. Like, how much more blatant can you get? He's taken $230 million from Israel adjacent committees and funding groups and lobbying groups and whatnot, and he's just doing their bidding. And like, the West Bank is going to be next. That like Lebanon's not fucking out of the woods yet. It's fucking disgusting. And you of course you got nothing, no pushback coming from the Democratic side at all, because obviously they're all bought out by fucking AIPAC as well. But yeah, we have.
I mean, it seems like they've thrown up their hands. The attitude, the vibe that I've been getting from the Democratic Party, just like, oh well, we tried, we lost. Let's get back to work with Republicans.
No,
and it's like, are you ever going to change? Are you ever going to change? And the answer is no. There's nothing. There's never going to be any change in the Democratic Party, and until there's a change at the top.
Right. No.
I mean, seeing like Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff confirm some of these people, it's really disappointing. I thought some of these guys would make a point. Make a point.
Right.
Sow the seeds right now. Sow the seeds of the anti-MAGA revolution that's going to be required in 4 years. I don't think people are understanding the long-term view here.
Mhm.
You need a huge change in leadership on the left if this party is going to win again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's conceivable if they don't put up another good candidate in 4 years and JD Vance is the nominee, then that could be another 4 years of Republican rule. It could be another 8 years.
God.
Grand total of 12.
Well,
I mean, it's
you
going to be in my 50s before we see some progressive change.
right. Yeah.
You're going to be my age.
Yeah. For real. I mean, it's for the immediate future, it's just about community building, community organizing, and whatnot because of all the Trump executive orders that are just tearing society apart right now. Were you able to? I mean, at least to the midterms, that should definitely be the immediate focus because if anything, it should be a blue. It should obviously be a blue wave in response to what's being
It usually is.
right. Yeah, and it has to be. It has to be overwhelming. Like there can be no question about it whatsoever because that will likely feed into 2028. We can only hope.
Right.
Like we can really only hope because they're going to try to rig it. The Republicans are going to try to rig it. But they have so much going for them right now that they are not even remotely close to ready to giving any of that up. They've come way too far. Like fucking Project 2025 is here. All the groundwork for it is being laid out right now. I think 2/3 of what's been listed in 2/3 of the executive orders passed by Trump so far were listed out in Project 2025. And one of the biggest components of it is Schedule F, which reclassifies federal workers. And by doing that, he can not only get rid of everybody in the federal government who has a federal job, and that's already been happening, by the way. He's been freezing hires. He's been stalling certain cases. And it's to set up a screening process so that way he has only loyalists working government jobs. This is Schedule F. This is the essential part of Project 2025, and this is what's going to be required for his administration moving forward.
Yeah, it's going to be a long road to hoe, man. I thought there would be a hunger on the left for regime change. I thought that Nancy's post election interview was devastating and saying how she wouldn't do things differently. I mean,
right.
James Carville, who we said, maybe Bernie was right at one point, has come back and still blaming the far left. I saw Kalinske cover Bill Maher talking shit about Gen Z.
Yeah.
Like, dude, are you stupid? What are you doing?
Of course.
Man? You gonna talk shit about the generation that we need to revive America?
I really wish we would get copyright struck for that because I would love to react to that. Just see me just rage out. Mean Elitist says Democrats have no sense of urgency. Plus, they can't afford to piss off their APAC handlers. Bingo, bingo, bingo. Feed your hungry neighbors. Bingo. Yeah, completely agree.
Well, the good, there might be some light if APAC, if this is still going on in 4 years, then the anti-Israel nominee will get the nomination because everyone's so sick of it. Everyone's so sick of it, man. The mainstream media tried so hard to keep that genocide out of the news, and people know what's going on. Like those Gen Z guys, the Gen Z podcast guys, when we interviewed them, they knew as much about the genocide as we did.
Of course. Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys are doing your homework.
Yeah.
So if someone had, they would have won the Gen Z vote if they'd come out and say, no, I'm anti-genocide. We're taking down APAC.
That's all.
We need someone to say, step up on the left and says, I'm going to destroy the NRA.
Yeah.
I'm going to destroy APAC. I'm going to destroy this. I'm going to be an agent, not just of a particular type of change. I'm going to be an agent of destructive change.
Yeah.
And, I was on a conference call with the Mike Figueredo Humanist Report people,
Uh-huh.
his fans or whatever, and they're talking about Tim Walz. And I'm like, you guys got to get away from this nice guy thing.
Mhm.
No more.
Well, here's the
No
thing.
more. You need a weapon. You need someone that's going to punch the bully in the face.
I think Tim Walz has the capacity to be rough. I think he really does, but I think he was neutered by the Harris campaign. I truly believe that because early on, he was on stage, he was lobbing insults, he was cussing, and that vanished.
Yeah,
And
they benched him.
Yeah, they benched
They benched him.
dude. Yeah,
They put in Liz Cheney instead. And it's
yeah.
like everyone's forgotten about that.
No,
It's
yeah.
like no one remembers what her campaign strategy was following the convention. Because the convention went well. And then after the convention, everything was about playing to the center and playing to the anti-Trump Republicans. There was that video. I don't know if you've seen it. That I posted on Blue Sky about Chuck Schumer saying, "Well, for every one Democratic vote that we lose in Philadelphia,
Oh yeah, that
we'll
bullshit.
gain 2 Republican votes in the middle of the state or something like that." It's like, you idiot.
Yeah.
You idiot. You don't know how to inspire leadership. Like, why did Obama win? Because of participation. People will show up for a fight.
Yeah.
America is an entertainment-based society, and conflict
Yeah.
is the greatest form of entertainment.
Yeah.
So you have to get into the fight. I mean,
Mhm.
Kamala could have maybe won if she had gone full bitch. We've talked
Of
about
course.
that.
Of
I mean, there's
course.
no doubt. Anybody who says Kamala couldn't have won this election just doesn't know what they're talking about. Because
It was
the-
like
it
how
was
like
close enough where they could have
fucking
won. She could have won.
how bad do you have to be to lose to Donald Trump? Like, give me a fucking break. It's like the easiest layup in the world, and you fail. But of course, like, leave it to the Democrats. Like, no other fucking party in history.
Got any fun
Fucking
chats?
yeah, I got a few. And thank you all for watching. By the way, I peeked at 11 here a little bit ago.
CNC Pyro says, "Trump baby, that's my president." You guys are delusional.
Yeah,
okay, pal.
sure thing, buddy. Thanks for joining. Really
Thank
appreciate
you for the
yeah,
thanks for the engagement.
yeah. Megan thinks that JD Vance would be a cool president. I couldn't disagree more. JD
Vance is cool.
JD Vance
What?
is fucking terrifying. Absolutely awful. He's a fucking racist fucking Nazi piece of shit. Regurgitates the great replacement theory.
Yeah, so
will
this guy
fucking
says
go wherever
America
power goes.
Your CNC Pyro guy is saying America first, and it's like, dude, that's straight out of Nazi Germany.
Yeah, it's like I covered earlier in my stream. It's like there's a video we were watching from Advice from Lewis, and he basically like broke down how fucking Elon Musk's family history dates back to apart from apartheid South Africa, but like they were literally fucking Nazis. They wrote a lot about like the fucking Jewish cabal and the Jewish
Okay.
like great replacement theory and all that fucking just lunacy, that complete like backwards ass bullshit that fucking all the Nazis fell for, because like it's easy to scapegoat someone when you don't fucking know anything. Fucking
Right.
it's like everything is a conspiracy theory when you don't fucking understand anything, you fucking retards.
No, I mean the fundamental knowledge, the intellectual tools are just not there for most people.
No,
that's what you got to realize,
no.
and that's why modern day politics in America, consumer politics, it's salesmanship.
Yeah,
it's salesmanship. It's not good enough. It's not good enough to have a good idea. You got to sell it, and that's what made Bernie such an attractive candidate 8 years ago. Was he actually believed this guy's going to get universal health care?
Mm-hmm.
This guy's going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, CNC Pyro here is saying they give all the money to the Ukraine instead of Americans. Guess what, buddy? That's not going to change, because all your money is going to be going to Israel instead, or to a bunch of AI that is overvalued and overhyped.
Yeah, I mean, if I was president right now, the first thing I'd do is I'd cut off Israel for 100 years. Say, hey, we'll see how you do on your own.
Yeah,
see how you do on your own.
No kidding.
Shouldn't even be there.
Yeah.
What a horrible idea. And putting Israel in the middle of Arab land. Like, fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
So stupid.
No, for real. Non-cities can give you information for recommended. What specifically are you referring to, Megan? I would like to know.
Explain how non-studied areas can give you information for recommendation, please.
I'm not-
There's is it Megan? Yeah, Megan. Definitely. If you haven't already, check out my old episodes, my old essays on
Yes.
conservatism, on conservative
Yes.
cognition. The right-wing media trick is usually the one I ask people to watch first because the first two are really specific to me and the culture that I come from. But the right-wing media trick and then the superficial cognition of conservative capitalism is also a good way to understand just the selfishness that defines conservatism. See, if you've got a group of people, let's say you got 10 people, let's see if you've got 10 people, and
1 second.
a long story short is that if you've got 10 people and 9 of them are open-minded and one of them is just a conservative asshole, that conservative asshole, it's like one bad apple spoils the bunch, is going to take away from the quality of collective decision-making. This is why removing the current baby boomer neoliberal power is so important, because it's addition by subtraction, right? Like people are saying, oh, more younger voters or more younger candidates, more younger people in the party. And a lot of those people who are saying that, they're like, yeah, as long as they're going to do what they're told, as long as they're not going to be, as long as they're in there to facilitate the system.
Yes.
You know, I was on a call with a guy a couple of years ago talking about how, like, you know, I was an outsider thinking maybe I could go get a job working for a candidate or whatnot. And he was just talking about basically the undercurrent of his message was, yeah, I'll help you network, but you're there to serve the established power. You're not there to upset or really influence the established power that's already in place. And it's so the left institution of the Democratic Party is not practicing what it preaches with respect to welcoming new voices, new ideas, new approaches to change. And actually, they don't practice what they preach when it comes to change. They don't want to change. I mean, Chuck Schumer is a fucking loser. Okay? Sorry, dude. You think that guy is going to bring the heat? Like, where's the Senate equivalent of Wes Moore? Or even, I don't know, like, I've got my issues with him, but Gavin Newsom's making a good pitch as the guy who's the only one who's, even Wes Moore said, yeah, we're going to work with the current administration. Gavin Newsom's the only one who's saying no.
Yeah, did you see the clip of him and Trump when they got off the tarmac and fucking like Gavin Newsom was just shaking his hand like aggressively, just like asserting dominance over Trump. It's like, yeah, you're. I thought that was brilliant. Now, like Trump I think Trump is scared of him. I can't stand Gavin Newsom. I don't think that he should be the leader of the Democratic Party. I don't think he should be next in line. I think there are a lot better. There's so many better options that we could and should go with. But fucking, what can you do? Honestly, we were talking earlier about the way that I mean, because the reason Trump was down there is because of the fucking LA fires, and now he's wanting to get rid of fucking FEMA. Like, are you fucking insane? CNC Pyro said earlier, I mean, $750 to flood victims, hurricane victims that lost their homes, but Ukraine gets billions. Well, there's a lot of implications to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. It's a very complicated situation, and I think it's justified that they should be able to, that they should get our support and our NATO allies trust in us to do so, because fuck Russia. They've literally like thrown like 300,000 troops into the grinder, probably even fucking more than that. But the thing is, when it comes to FEMA, Joe Biden was begging the Republicans during Hurricane Helene to come back from recess so that way they can put more funding into FEMA. Of course, everything it all ended up fucking like all the funding ended up going to where it needed to go anyway. But like the fact that they said no about it says everything. Like, at least like make the gesture, and they didn't.
Right.
Like,
Right.
and now Trump's trying to blame Biden for how bad the response was to the hurricanes and whatnot. It's like no, no. Like if anything, like your response to that is to end FEMA. Like that, so ending FEMA would create more unnecessary overhead. It would like it would pass down to the states. The states would need to like allocate their own funds from their own budgets to go to disaster relief. A lot of them already do, but
Right.
having that centralized structure through FEMA, who's like the best thing about FEMA is that they're great at cutting checks. They get money to where it needs to be. But if that infrastructure is not there and it's just left up to the states, and the federal government's not actively like sending them money, it's going to take longer for the money to get to where it needs to be. It's just unnecessary.
Right.
Like that centralized structure is there, and now states have to fucking make up for it themselves, and they're probably not even going to get what they need to handle these disasters in the first place. Like the amount that's going to be required to rebuild and like even send out to the citizens, so that way they can feed themselves, whatever the fuck. Because Trump is already signaling that he's going to be conditioning aid. Like, if you kiss Trump's ass enough, you might be in luck. If not, if you're California, why should I send you guys money to help recover from these fucking disastrous fires? Some of the worst and most costliest natural disasters in history. He sees everything as a transaction. He sees
Right.
everything
He's
as
trying to get like voter ID laws changed in California. Like, oh, you want aid, then we're going to have to see some changes in your voter ID laws.
yeah,
Absolutely ridiculous.
yeah.
I
No,
mean, the
it-
guy,
yeah.
you know, getting rid of FEMA. I don't think he'll get rid of FEMA. He's just talking, but
We'll see. He has single. I mean, we might not. He might restructure and whatnot. And CNC Pyro,
he just
yes,
loves keeping people off balance. He
that's
loves keeping
always been
people
his
off
thing.
balance.
That's always been
Yeah.
Trump's thing. Thank God, at least you guys know Gavin. Also, Gavin is awful. Yes, he's a corporate neoliberal goon, and California can do way better than him for sure.
So I want to know, do you think there are going to be any social consequences for guys like Jeff Bezos, Zuckerberg, Elon, the Google guy,
No, they have
Tim
all the money.
Cook?
No,
Do you think that there are going to be any social consequences for them
absolutely.
for going and supporting Trump? Really?
I mean,
you don't think 4 years from now, if and when he's out of office, if there's a Democratic president there, you don't think people are going to be
I
like,
think if
hey,
the
Tim Cook, from Apple, you really shouldn't have supported Trump, man. And here's, so don't show up at restaurants
I
in
think
New York or
if the past 10 years of social consequences for like everything that they have done over the past decade hasn't gotten to them, then I think it doesn't fucking matter one bit. Honestly, they
and that's
they
what we were talking about when you were doing your stream when I was still up in skiing country.
yeah
And you were saying how we were talking about the normalization,
Mhm.
how they make it look normal now. The fact that
Yeah.
all these billionaires and like Tim Cook is a respected guy. I was surprised to see him there, but they're all so afraid of deregulation. They're also afraid of regulation and being broken up that they're just going to kiss the ring. They're going to do what's required to keep their business the way it is. They like how big they are.
Yeah.
They like the status quo.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
meanwhile, the environment is going to shit and no one cares. And I was talking with a guy who voted for Trump, and he's someone whose intelligence I respect. I've known him since I was 13. And he's a successful guy, worked hard, nothing wrong with that. Made a good amount of money. I don't know how much, but it's a lot.
Mhm.
And his issue was almost like casting. was like, look at these. He looks at the Democratic leadership as losers who don't deliver. And it's like, and one of my other friends was like, well, what about this guy? Shows him a picture of Wes Moore. It's like, yeah, why can't we have a guy like that? And it's like, so you're just basing this off of appearances. You're basing your opinion of an institution off of the faces of that institution. And I'm like, thank you for your honesty, because you're not the only one who thinks that way. But it was just surprising from something. This guy went to fucking Harvard. Like, it's just hard. It's hard to see a Harvard grad be so superficial with their political leanings.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Trump, they don't, it's not even so much they care about what Trump's going to do. They just know he's going to do something. Whereas all Democrats do, and they have powers, talk about what they can't do.
Right. Right. So, yeah, there's like Democrats don't want to play hardball. They don't want to exercise any power at all. Honestly, like even if they do have power, like a good example is when Obama had a supermajority during the first 2 years of his term, and all he did was get a fucking bullshit.
The Romney care.
Yeah, that was it. Like he didn't go after the bankers or anything. CNC Pyro here is talking about how Trump is going after Fauci, and I'm telling him like, hey, Fauci was pardoned by Biden, but it was revoked. You can't pardon someone prematurely. That's corrupt and unlawful for the president. But the thing about that, CNC Pyro, is the Supreme Court ruled that as long as it's an official act as president, you can't be charged with any crimes for it. You can't you can't face any legal consequences for it. What Biden did was an official act. In July 2024, the Supreme Court ruled as long as it's an official act, you are immune. You have immunity. And so this doesn't just apply for Trump. This applies for any fucking president as well. Why is someone being pardoned in advance? Because he's on Trump's enemy lists. There's a lot of people on his enemy list. Trump wants to go after people unilaterally and extrajudicially. That's all there is to it.
Let me show you. Unless you got something.
Thank you all. Thank you all for tuning in. By the way, I got 12 viewers. It's really cool. You guys are all here. Make yourselves known. Make sure you guys are subscribed. It means a hell of a lot that you guys are here. Go ahead, Deter.
So this is one thing I wanted to show you. This is one of the power players in the
former congressman and White House chief
another one of these fucking spineless fucking worms
in Japan as U.S. ambassador during President Biden's term. And he has returned stateside to a new reality in America. Donald Trump is back in the White House, and Republicans are in full power across both chambers of Congress, and Democrats are still unsure.
No, Fauci's just a scapegoat, Pyro.
Rahm Emanuel joins us now. It's great to have you back on the show, Mr. Ambassador.
This guy epitomizes everything that's wrong with the Democratic Party.
I couldn't fucking agree more. I couldn't agree more. I hate Rahm Emanuel.
Financial Times Magazine. You can't be lethargic against this guy. I think everyone is getting their sea legs and trying to figure out how to move forward here. Watching these nominations go through, watching Republicans as they respond to Donald Trump's pardons of the January 6th rioters. And what advice would you give moving forward?
Yeah, well, first of all, you're not going to win it just on the first effort. I mean, what I would focus on is the long term, which is not just this first week. And while I would oppose these nominations for a series of reasons, the three issues I would focus on: number one, the Secretary-Treasurer in the testimony in front of the Finance Committee said he was against the minimum wage. In the very week in which CEOs are getting pay hikes 30-40%, he's against the minimum wage and hasn't been raised in 2 decades. So that, actually 3 decades. So that is where I would go first and foremost.
So why didn't your president that you worked for, or why didn't Joe Biden ever talk about hiking the minimum wage? Sometimes talking about something is actually enough. See, it's one thing that's political capital. Yeah. We tried to hike a minimum wage, but the Republicans prevented it from happening.
Yeah.
Like blame has its place.
It does.
And hit. Second, that the Republicans are talking about cutting healthcare subsidies for middle-class, working-class families to pay for a tax cut for the wealthy. And third, while Donald Trump obviously talked about fighting inflation, a tariff war with Canada, all the energy, not all, but the bulk of the energy, oil and gas for the United States, for the Midwest and Rocky Mountains, comes from Canada. You're going to see it at the pump immediately. Go right to the economics, go right to the core as issues. I do think, as it relates to a number of these nominations, I would fight them on the, if you want to fight them. I don't think you have to fight every one of them, but where you have clear stands, like I think the idea of the Secretary of Defense, a alcoholic and a person with drinking problems and other types of character and judgment issues should be nowhere close to.
It's not just that either. It's not just the fact that Pete Hegseth is a beater of women and a drunk. It's the fact that he's an 04. For example, he is such lowly. He is so lowly ranked as military personnel to begin with. For like H.R. McMaster is an 010. And clearly someone who's a lot more qualified, a lot more fit for the position. It goes beyond just how much of a piece of shit that he is in his personal life. It's the fact that he is such a low-ranking member of the military to begin with. Like, there are people in reserves that have a higher rank than an 04 that Hegseth has. That's the fucking thing that a lot of these people don't fucking get.
Nuclear aircraft carriers, 30 plus nuclear submarines. This person clearly is not qualified to be in the situation we're advised. But on the core fundamentals, against the minimum wage, while CEOs' pay is going up, that picture of all those CEOs is going to hurt the president in the long term. Cutting healthcare benefits for working.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Because a lot of voters think that they can become one of those billionaires.
Middle class families to pay for a tax cut for the wealthy, and making sure that gas prices in the Midwest jump. Remember, you got Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania in the Midwest. That is where a lot of oil and gas from Canada comes to the United States. You're going to see it at the pump with Donald Trump's tariff war.
Yeah, we'll see the
That's
vote.
where we go.
We'll see the vote for Pete Hegseth later tonight. We should note he, of course, has denied the allegation that he is an alcoholic. He says he would stop drinking if confirmed.
Well, the one thing here, I don't agree with Donald Trump. I admire the fact that he has never had a drink in that area. But once you have a drinking problem, you always have a drinking problem. And that job is not stress-free. I have been in this situation. You are 2 seats, the Secretary of Defense, down from the President of the United States. You have 1 million plus men and women under your command. That person should be nowhere close to advising the president.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. That's another thing too. The fact that the Department of Defense has such a gigantic budget, and you are overseeing like 2 million personnel. I think it is something crazy, some big number, and you're passing it off to this guy who's just so unqualified and so unfit, only because he has openly expressed how he is a loyalist to Donald Trump, and that's the bar. There's no getting around that.
Well, he also said we can't resist him on everything. I'm like, why can't we resist him on everything? We should resist him at every turn.
Yes.
We should make everything difficult for them.
Right. It's like if Mitch McConnell was able to see that, why can't the fuck anybody else?
No, we should give him we should call it the Newt Gingrich treatment.
Like, as
give
much of
Trump the Newt Gingrich treatment.
As much of a piece of shit that Mitch McConnell is, like, he understands fucking like where the power should lie and who should have influence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the stress of a Secretary of Defense is in the Situation Room? Live or die, boots on the ground or not, nowhere. And every senator.
Yeah, and the 2 Republican senators Mr. Bethel, right. The 2 Republican senators who voiced opposition to his nomination both did cite character issues as part of why they couldn't support him. You were, of course, an ambassador to Japan until just very recently. Let's turn to that part of the world right now, because we know President Trump has threatened tariffs against China in recent, coming up in a few days. At the same time, he's talked to Xi Jinping. He wants to have a visit to China soon. It has been reported. There's also been, what is your level of concern about some of the democratic rollback we've seen in that area? And do you think that Trump foreign policy will be robust enough to the area that former President Biden said that relationship, U.S. and China, is by far the most important of the next century?
Well, I have a fundamental principle about the Indo-Pacific. It is a home game for China. It's an away game for the United States. And I hate using sports metaphors on big national security issues, but to understand this, and our allies, Japan, Korea, the Philippines, India, Australia, New Zealand, they level the playing field for the United States. You can't be a credible deterrent force from Long Beach, California in the Indo-Pacific. And you can't fight your adversaries and fight your allies. You got to pick. I happen to think our allies are tremendous resources for the United States. One of the things that China hates most is when the United States, Japan, and Korea under President Biden aligned correctly. Philippines, Japan, the United States aligned correctly. Now, to their credit, I'll call it out, one of the first meetings Secretary of State Rubio called for was the Quad, which is India, Australia, Japan, and the United States, showing China our allies stand with us. The isolated party in the Indo-Pacific is China based on their actions. Economic coercion, wolf warrior. You sit there and all of a sudden level up with your adversary, your allies are going to have real questions about your staying power. And so we are stronger when China sees a united front. We are weaker when they see divisions with our own allies. And my concern with President Trump, it's not that he has affinity for autocrats stylistically. He actually sees the world like they do. He sees Russia. You want Ukraine? You want Eastern Europe?
I'll give him
That's
that.
your area of sphere of influence.
I'll give him that.
Pacific.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not a. I mean,
He sees that with the
Yeah, I mean, and he see. Okay, so I can what his niche is foreign policy, especially in that region. He seems to be actually really knowledgeable about the area, and his read on Donald Trump's approach to the area is actually pretty fucking accurate as well. I can see exactly why, because it says right here, former ambassador.
but China's
to Japan.
not invading anybody. China's
Yeah,
that's not
like,
the hottest
of course,
area. Like
like yeah,
China,
they're the
if you-
scapegoat.
China is a smart government.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
they didn't rebuild their society starting in the 1980s until today without making some good decisions. It's kind of the best argument for democracy's not for everybody,
Mhm.
right? China, you can't. We're not going to go into China and make them more American. They don't want to be more American.
No, of
But
course.
they do want to do
shouldn't be
business
either.
with us. Our economic ties to them are so strong.
Big time.
So if
Yeah.
if business, I don't think they want a huge upsetting in China. They don't. If they were going to
Yeah.
invade Taiwan, I think they would have done it already. I don't think that they have ambitions of invading Taiwan. That's the only real thing you have to worry about with China.
Yeah.
It's like that part of the world isn't where it's hot right now. What's
Yeah.
hot is Ukraine and Israel, Gaza.
this whole move on
Right.
Greenland and
Have you
Panama,
heard about
that
the
these are
AI
spheres of influence.
thing
He has a
regarding China?
No, what?
You don't know anything about that at all?
No, I mean, I don't
Oh
think so.
boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Should I close this and we should talk?
Well, yeah, I actually put out a video last night. I thought I sent you it, but I guess not. It's not a big deal. CNC Pirate says better dead than red. Trump's about to put big tariffs on China. Yeah, the thing about that is China's just gonna do what they usually do, and they're going to set up shop on whatever we put tariffs on, like whatever commodity, whatever export of theirs, whatever industry. They're going to set up shop in a neighboring country like Laos or Taiwan or take your pick. And instead, they're going to export those goods from that country so they don't have to pay those tariffs. This is how they've screwed the tariffs before, and not to mention if we're like if they don't do that, and American companies buy these products that are made in China or what have you anyway, American companies are just going to, if it's within reason, buy this product anyway and just pay the tariffs. And what they're going to do is pass the cost onto us, the consumers. Meaning we get to pay for those tariffs, meaning we are paying more for shit that we don't that used to be more expensive, that used to be cheaper before Trump put tariffs on it. Ultimately, yeah. So the Chinese are coming, and like that's actually what we're about to talk about. We could actually get to the Chinese AI thing after this Rahm Emanuel thing. It's actually a really
that
interesting
is fundamentally against America's interest. We have allies which are a multiplier of force and deterrence and the credibility of our deterrence. And my concern is not what everybody else in Washington writes, which is this idea, he has stylistic affinity. No, he is strategically aligned with them. And his comments about Xi, his comments about Putin as friends, his actually running down our allies weakens the credibility of America's deterrence. You want to stop wars, as he says, and I take his word seriously, you do it with allies aligned with you. And they're ready to be aligned
Yeah,
with
that's
America's
the
leadership.
thing.
Ambassador, good morning. Let's talk about domestic politics. As you know, many progressives, many Democrats are dejected about what happened in the election. They fully expected that they would move forward with a President Kamala Harris, but now we're 4 more years of Donald Trump. You won all the swing states, some of them by very narrow margins. You've been at the center of Democratic politics
You
for so
shouldn't
long now
be
as
shocked.
as chief of staff inside the Oval Office. What is your message to Democrats about not just how to handle Donald Trump, but how to get back on the horse and look ahead to the midterms, which really get underway about a year from now in terms of campaigning?
Well, there's a long thing to unpack, so I'm not sure we're going to be able to do it just here. But I would say, one, you focus on Donald Trump. That's opportunities to kind of create a narrative. But two, focus on the American people, not just Donald Trump. And I think one of the mistakes for the party was that they became brain dead over the years, because 20 years ago, there was demographics as destiny. Don't worry, the demographics are going to work for the Democratic Party. And intellectually, policy-wise, we became brain dead. And I think the
leadership.
Mhm.
Who is to blame for that? That is an institutional failure. Ergo, the leaders of the institution deserve the blame.
mistake to make is all we're going to do is focus on Donald Trump, which is where he wants you to focus, and not focus on the American people. That's number one. Number two, your recruitment's going to be very important. The profile, the story of the candidates, like we did in 06, like in 08, like 2018, their backgrounds in targeted districts have to tell the story of that district, not what the National Democrats want. And
okay, so that's good, right? He's talking about casting there, new candidates, their backgrounds should be in line with the district that they're trying to win. That's not a new idea.
Mhm.
The new idea would be younger, more progressive, because that's what people want. Universal healthcare polls at 70%.
Third and foremost, we're going to have, when we talk about kitchen table issues, we got to stop thinking that they're just economic, although those are important. They're also about schools, about public safety, about what's going on in the neighborhood. We had 2 Democrats get elected president and reelected since Franklin Delano Roosevelt. President Clinton and President Obama. President Clinton ran on 100,000 community police officers. We became identified with defund the police. One of those worked both policy-wise and politically. President Obama.
We did not become identified with defund the police. That slogan lasted 6 months.
God,
I was criticized for being
right.
the deporter in chief. And then there were a lot of other Democrats who talk about free healthcare at the border if you cross the border illegally. One of those have worked politically and be the right policy. We have to be where the American people are at their kitchen table, not where we.
Absolutely, Solana.
Yeah, the kitchen table issue that matters most, I think, is healthcare. I can't get off healthcare. I mean,
No,
I just find myself coming
should.
back to it.
No one should.
Every time. I'm like, until we fix healthcare, we
Free
can't fix
Luigi
anything domestically.
Yeah,
them to be, but where they are and talk to them. And the fact is, on a whole slew of issues, just take President Clinton's election in '92. For 20 years, there was a campaign against law and order by Richard Nixon, welfare queens by Ronald Reagan.
I don't know about
Willie
that,
Horton by
Pyro.
George Bush. It was Bill Clinton's message on a slew of issues, from crime to immigration to welfare reform to drug policy, that got right with the American people so they could hear the rest of what we're talking about. We can't ignore a set of issues because it makes us uncomfortable, that makes the American people uncomfortable. If we get right on how they.
Did Kamala ignore these issues, or did she just not present solutions to these problems that came across as viable?
Right.
Big enough?
No,
I mean, I think it's about size. Like,
yeah,
I think America's about size more than anything else.
I don't think any single person who's even remotely in tune with politics can look at the Kamala Harris campaign and point to anything that anybody could consider big and bold.
Right.
There's fucking. She didn't offer anything. A few tweaks around the around the edges.
Dude.
It's the neoliberal way, dude.
Neither one of us have like a political science degree or whatever, but
I want to get one. I do want to.
I don't know. I don't think you need it. I don't think you need it, man. I think we already know more
Probably
about
not.
the professional politicians. You're just going to get indoctrinated with operating within the system instead of changing the fucking
They live
system.
their lives, how they want to raise their kids, how they want to see
couldn't
what goes on in
agree more.
their
You're probably
communities
right.
and in their cities. Then we're going to be okay. And I'll give you a classic example. I think this idea on what President Trump is talking about, raiding schools and places of worship on immigration.
Thanks for
is
joining.
as
Please
stupid as the
subscribe.
Democrats closing schools and places of worship during COVID. And
Okay, so this is actually, so he says this is interesting. So check this. Check out what he just said.
of worship on immigration is as stupid as the Democrats closing schools and places of worship during COVID. And they are going to make a massive mistake of going after immigrants in schools, hospitals, and places of worship. And that's where Democrats can stand up and say, look, why don't you?
Okay, so now here's
Okay.
how I would say that. Here's
Okay.
how I would say. Here's what Democrats on TV need to sound like. Just wait till you see these fucking deportations come to your town and take away people that you know. And don't forget the administration and the political party that made it happen. And hold it over their heads for the rest of their lives until they are politically irrelevant, because there's nothing good that comes from the Republican Party. Nothing.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Yeah. Seriously.
That's ethos. That's
really
fucking
is.
ethos.
Yes, it's fucking passion is what it fucking
Balls,
is. Honestly.
dude.
Yes, for crying out fucking goddamn loud. Like, this is literally fucking happening. The ICE raids are happening all over the country, these major cities and everything. Fucking elementary schools. They're showing up at elementary schools trying to fucking deport children, trying to round up children. They're showing up at hospitals. They're
Yep.
showing up at hospitals. Like if you're a doctor, I'm fairly certain you know what the fucking Hippocratic Oath is. Trying to fucking just like nab people who are on a fucking hospital bed being taken care of. Are you fucking kidding me? And just sending them to fucking God knows fucking where. Like, and now Trump's coming out and saying like, oh, there needs to be like a minimum fucking quota for how many arrests that ICE makes in a day. It's like, this is fucking Gestapo shit, dude. And fucking like they're going after people that aren't even fucking committing crimes. Yeah, their crime was they came over here fucking they crossed an imaginary line. Whoop-de fucking do. If they're not actively fucking committing crimes, if they're not being violent and shit, then like what the fuck is the point of spending taxpayer money on this shit? What the fuck is the point of exerting energy and authority over this shit? It's just to create fear. It's just to create chaos. It's just to throw red meat to the MAGA base because they will eat it the fuck up.
Their lives suck.
Yeah, fuck
And they
those
want
fucking brown people. Send them back to wherever the fuck they fucking came from. Like, fuck the fact that they're tax-paying citizens. Fuck the fact that they're providing for families. Fuck the fact that they've been part of the communities that they've been in for who knows how fucking long now. It doesn't fucking matter because to all these fucking MAGA retards, they're all fucking criminals. So fuck them off.
Yeah.
God damn it, dude.
Let's finish this up.
That tells me you've missed a bit, Megan.
You got a criminal background? Out of here. Schools, hospitals, places of worship. That's as crazy as what we did during COVID. And we advocated. And it was very clear within 6 months that it was a wrong policy as it relates to public health and achieving educational goals. Here is that there are places to stand and also understand what happens and how people live their lives. Not how we want them to live their lives, but how they actually live their lives, and that we're in touch with it from a value system. They can then hear everything else we have to talk about.
Homer,
Now, can I weigh in on? Can I weigh in on one other? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
On the MVP. It's between Lamar and Josh.
Who cares?
All right. So CNC Pyro, I'm gonna ask you like I've asked Megan. When it comes down to it, do you think that illegal immigrants who are here in America and who are paying taxes but don't see the benefits of those taxes, who are working jobs but don't ever see the benefits of those jobs, you don't see the like what we would expect as working Americans do. Do you think that if they're not committing any crimes, if they are contributing to their communities, if they're not causing any trouble at all, that ICE rounding them up and just bringing them, like tossing them out of the country is good for these communities? Is it good for the economy? Because these people do contribute to the economy, and at the rate that this is happening, it's going to have a major effect. Like there's some citrus farms that have shut down because of like their reliance on these undocumented workers. And sure, that's a problem in and of itself. But the issue isn't to fucking throw these people out of the country. It's to go after the people who incentivize this cheap labor to be here in the fucking first place. It's capitalism.
And shame on Kamala Harris and every Democratic presidential nominee since Clinton for never saying immigrants are the toughest of us.
They really
because
are.
They do the shittiest jobs. They make the same amount of money every year, and they save up. Why? So their kids can go to college. So their kids can have a better life.
Yes.
They don't
sacrifice
the profile. They don't present the profile of the immigrant. All of those things that all of those details that you just offered about the immigrant experience are anathema to conservatives. And here's the tragedy. They're anathema to a lot of liberals.
They are.
A lot of liberals we've talked about it, how immigration is the blood sacrifice of the Democratic Party to mainstream politics. There is no effort to alter the public image of the American immigrant by the Democratic Party.
None.
They are a huge part of our fucking society.
No, seriously, there's nothing there. you saw, like, not just the Kamala Harris campaign, but a whole lot of senators, whole lot of House races as well, harp away at the dangers of the border and whatnot. Not praising immigrants for how hardworking and selfless they are, because they're not here for fucking themselves. They're not here to just fucking like reap
You know what the best part? You know what they deserve.
They're doing it for their fucking kids. That's
you know what the and you know what the best part is. You know what the most appealing part of the immigrant culture is, for the most part.
Mhm.
They don't complain.
Yes, that's a key aspect of it as well.
They don't complain, and they should.
They don't.
They should complain.
But the thing is, they're afraid that if they do fucking complain, if their
They'll
complaints,
lose their job. Right.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. CNC Pyro says there should be an amnesty program, some kind for nonviolent attacks between immigrants. I do agree with that, and I don't think you're going to get that with a Trump fucking administration. That's for sure. Sadly, right now the borders have been wide open for 4 years now, thanks to Democrats who have to purge it. That's actually a lie. That's a lie. That he's saying have the borders have been open. That's not actually true.
That's not true.
That's the borders are the same as they've ever been. If you come through a port of entry and you can't claim asylum, you have protections. If you cross the border illegally, you don't have that same protections, but you still do have rights. The borders are not open. Otherwise, we would have free commerce in between United States and Mexico, the United States and Canada, and whoever flies in back and forth. That is not the case right now. The borders are not open. That has been a MAGA lie. That has been a lie regurgitated by conservative media for years now. But if you repeat something enough times every single day, it's like if you were told by someone that you listen to every single day that your neighbor was this purple 8-legged freak that eats babies, but you never saw him, but you were told that every single day, day after day, eventually you believe it.
Yeah.
Even though you've never actually seen this force in action, if you've never actually seen this neighbor, if you've never actually seen these claims played out in front of you, but if that's repeated enough, eventually you believe it, because that's the way the fucking conservative media works. In the media in general, but especially conservative media, especially those who watch Fox News and Newsmax and the OAN and all that fucking bullshit. It's just not true. There's no truth to it.
I remember when I was a kid listening to a sermon. We had to go to church, and one of the sermons talked about how there were these imprisoned Americans in Vietnam, I think, and they were put up all this propaganda around them of like Americans slaughtering innocent people and America sucks and exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And eventually it worked. Eventually, you know, after a couple of months, they started to believe it. Started to believe it. And these were soldiers. These were men who pledged their lives to American military service. And they were convinced by the end of that process that America was the enemy.
No, of course.
I'll tell you another person who's the enemy is Richie Torres. You want to see him?
Oh my God. Do we have to?
We got to go Richie Torres.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm going to go after this. Because this guy has the aesthetic talent to be I can see why the party is pushing him. He's a New York APAC guy.
Yeah.
But man, is he sleazy.
President Trump's second term are focused on rolling
back
diversity.
Real quick, though, I did want to address a comment. Lyrical Cereal says, I'm loving Trump's first week so far. Trump the GOAT. Wow. And for those MAGA types in chat, and like I got 14 viewers right now, that's insane. I would like he's getting things done, but like what things in particular
that are hurting America? He's hurting the fucking country.
No, for real. Like what in particular are you in favor of? He's going very fast, and we're going to talk a bit more about that. The blitzkrieg of Trump executive orders and everything. We're going to get to that. There's a whole lot to go for. It's been a very, 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 very busy week. But let's go ahead and start with Richie Torres. Show me what you got here, Deter.
Yeah, this came out the other day. This is when I texted you. I was like, this guy's bad.
This piece of shit. This APAC bot piece of garbage.
Starting today. While our next guest has been a longtime supporter of marginalized
Hello, Joseph.
communities, he has also criticized
Welcome
his
in.
own party, particularly on the far left, for its outsized role in shaping Americans' perception of Democrats' priorities. Democratic Congressman Richie Torres of New York joins us now. He has an opinion piece in the Free Press entitled "The Rising Democratic Coalition Fell."
You're in
Now
for
what?
something,
Thank you for
Pyro.
being on, and I'll start there.
I'll hold you to
Now
that.
what?
Well, look, the ground beneath us, may be shifting. Class is increasingly replacing race as the most powerful predictor
fucking
of voting
robot.
behavior in American politics. And by class, I mean educational attainment. There were a few congressional districts that saw a greater swing toward Donald Trump.
That's not class, motherfucker. That's not class. That's education. They're two
Yeah.
different things.
I'm
You
convinced.
can be you can get an education even if you come from a lower middle class or just a lower class family. If you're intelligent, you like school. Like, dude, you're already pissing me off.
Yeah, no, this guy's
You know,
a piece of shit.
And I think black people might not like him with the way what he just
No,
said.
yeah, no, the fucking.
I don't know. I don't pretend to represent black consciousness, but if I were black, I think I might take issue with what he just said.
If you're watching earlier, I actually covered
Now
the video
what?
by a YouTuber called Advice from Lewis, and the fact that like all this eradication of DEI and affirmative action, it's all based on a fucking bunch of lies. The conservative media has touted for as long as I can remember now these buzzwords, these fucking lies about discrimination. Yet there's no fucking evidence provided that like implementing DEI programs and whatnot and affirmative action is in any way fucking discriminatory. It's a meritocratic system for a fucking reason, but these systems are in place, DEI and affirmative action, so that way if you feel like you're being discriminated by your employer, you have the right to fucking sue their asses. You have the right to fucking go after them and say like, hey, you're discriminating against me. That's why these executive defenses were in place, because this was fucking happening a whole fucking lot.
It happens.
It
happens,
yeah,
dude.
and then Trump gets rid of them. You can't fucking like sue as easily anymore. Like these protections are slowly being stripped away, and eventually it's going to be he's going to go after the Equal Opportunity Employment Act or whatever of 1972 or something like that. It is all complete fucking bullshit. DEI is just another buzzword for minorities, for the LGBTQ, for fucking women. They can't point to any evidence as to why it's bad and why its implementation has been a negative for the fucking country. Let's get on with this fucking sellout to fucking AIPAC. Jennifer,
well, just real quick, one piece of one area of corporate culture where sexism is rampant,
of course,
is in the world of engineering.
Yes.
It's like a 70-30 percentage of college majors in engineering are men versus female. And that shows up in trying to get a job. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough to get a job as an engineer as a woman.
Yes. One thing, since we're on the topic of Richie Torres, I had a tweet that actually did some numbers earlier this week. It was about Richie Torres. I'm actually going to share it here with my stream here, but check this out. So I had a tweet that says, "Reminder for anyone watching Morning Joe. This is when you reached out to me, Deter. Richie Torres is a gigantic piece of shit, a huge whore for AIPAC, and loves watching thousands of brown babies be blown to bloody pieces by American-made weapons dropped by Israel." And this goes for Senator John Fetterman too. Fucking 277. Yeah, 277 likes, over 6,000 views. Fuck Richie Torres. Fuck anybody who defends him. Fuck AIPAC for defending him. Let's see what this piece of shit has to say.
Well, look, the ground beneath us, may be shifting.
16 viewers. Please subscribe. I appreciate you all so very much. I'm out of
voting behavior in American politics, and by class I mean educational attainment. There were a few congressional districts that saw a greater swing toward Donald Trump than my congressional district, New York 15, in the Bronx. The Bronx is one of the most democratic areas in the country.
We're not Democrats, Pyro.
Or less.
We only tolerate
them. In 2012, President Barack Obama won 96% of the vote in the Bronx. 2024, Vice President Harris only won 74%, a more than 20-point swing. Or take Starr County, which is almost exclusively Latino. It has voted for the Democratic Party since the 19th century. In 2016, Hillary Clinton won by more than 60 percentage points. In 2024, Donald Trump won nearly 60% of the vote. And so for me, the lesson learned from the 2024 election is that voters of color can no longer be treated as a monolith or taken for granted. We as Democrats have to hustle for every vote and every voting block, and no one and nothing can be taken for granted.
And what were the turnout numbers on that, so that we can make the analysis complete, you jackass?
Yeah.
It's not just about the movement and the percentages; it's about the turnout, because the turnout would affect those percentages.
So I think it's we could go on for hours looking back at what happened, but I'd like to look forward and ask you: did you hear a lot of people saying Democrats failed to meet people where they are? You got to meet people where they are, and you have to have a resounding message that breaks through, right? It sounds great, right? I want to know how. I want to know what that looks like exactly, especially in this climate of disinformation, in a climate where clearly Democrats lost terribly in the worst way ever. And we are sitting here, Democrats, in a state of, I think,
we're going to get to that,
how to move forward, or maybe a lack of knowledge as to how to move forward. So educate us. How do you meet people where they are in this climate? What should Democrats be focusing on, and how should they be doing it?
I'm waiting, Byron.
Look, for me, the Democratic Party should have a simple mission, which is to lower costs, lower crime rates, make government work for the people rather than for the interest groups.
How?
And we have to recognize that.
No, I agree, Lyrical Serial. Like fucking MSDNC is fucking correct. These are defenders of the establishment. Fucking, they will put on anyone who is like the biggest fucking sellouts. Richie Torres is no fucking he's the perfect example. This guy will do anything for money. There's a reason why a tweet of mine, even though I am not verified, even though Elon Musk's Twitter does not reward people who aren't verified, they suppress a whole hell of a lot of people who speak out against Israel, especially. My tweet still kind of took off a little bit because I criticized Richie Torres because of the money that he takes from AIPAC and the fact that he doesn't give a flying fuck about the fact that Israel is dropping bombs on fucking children in Gaza. And of course, MSNBC is not going to fucking even pay a nod of attention to any of that fucking shit. We cannot stand these fuckers. We probably we both voted for Kamala. I wouldn't hold it past Deter. I don't think I've ever asked him, but we both voted for Kamala in this election.
I voted for Kamala, but it's important to vote in California because of the ballot initiatives, no matter what.
Yeah, like a lot of the propositions.
You always got to vote in California because of the propositions.
On issues like
for various reasons. We can always get into that. We can get deeper into it, but we'll get there eventually. Yeah, go ahead.
Where they are. If we swing the pendulum too far to the center, in the center.
Okay, so wait a second. How do we meet them?
So educate.
How do we meet them where they are? Let's hear some specifics.
And how should they be
specificity, y'all?
Yeah.
Well, look, for me, the Democratic Party should have a simple mission, which is to lower costs, lower crime rates, make government work for the people rather than for the interest groups. And we have to recognize that working class voters of color are largely in the center on issues like public safety and border security. And we have to meet them where they are. If we swing the pendulum too far to the left, we risk alienating working class people of color. And working class people of color are no different from most Americans. Most Americans want the basics, an affordable cost of living, safe streets, secure borders. And so we should be focused like a laser on delivering the basics and ignore the fashionable nonsense that is taking hold in our politics.
Okay. And when you say swing too far to the left, what do you mean specifically?
Yes, tell us.
In the case of the 2024 election, it was immigration. As I've said repeatedly, I felt the president did
which
too
is
little, too
total
late, to secure the border.
Fucking bullshit. Not only did the Kamala Harris campaign run to the right on the border, so did so many of the Senate races and House races. I can't even tell you how many fucking ads I saw talking about, well, we need to focus on the border. We're focused on the border. We need they might as well have ran as Republicans on the border in particular.
Yeah. Well, she said she would submit the same bill.
Yes,
she said
Kamala Harris literally said that she would fucking sign the immigration bill that was put forward by Republicans that gives them basically every single fucking thing that they wanted. The thing that Chuck Schumer proposed in the fucking Senate and pass it down to the House. Like oh, okay, you fucking, you want to be serious about the border? Here you go. And Donald Trump called fucking multiple representatives in the House and senators and said, do not sign this bill because I want to campaign on this issue. I need to campaign on this issue to scare my base about the fucking border. So that bill that would have given Republicans and Trump, so he says, every fucking thing that they wanted and more, they killed so they can campaign on it and scare you. They don't give a fuck about actually fixing the bill, the border.
You could win an election just going after AIPAC.
Yeah,
you could win. Richie
Really,
Torres
though.
got 1.5 million. Hakeem Jeffries got 1.6 million. Chuck Schumer got 1.7 million.
Yeah,
I mean, the list goes on. They
Yeah.
own everybody.
AIPAC
They
owns
own
AIPAC
everybody. They own the
owns-
fucking federal government.
They own the federal fucking government.
I think
AIPAC
right, in the 2024 election.
controls everything. Go ahead.
For me, both inflation and immigration were the leading causes of Democratic defeat in 2024. And in the case of immigration, I felt like the Biden administration did make fatal miscalculations that cost us the election.
Congressman, good morning. Great to have you back on the show. I was struck by the term you just used, fashionable nonsense, and you get at some of that in your piece, and you share an anecdote about talking to a white activist who called themselves a police
BlackRock,
abolitionist, saying, I'm here to help you. We're going to defund the police. We're going to get rid of the cops.
Both political
And you said,
parties,
wait,
by the
hang
way.
on a second. Can you talk a little bit about that conversation, why you believe that's an important message, too, for Democrats?
Yeah, so I spoke to an activist who was advocating for abolishing the police, and I said, let me get this straight. You want to conduct a social experiment on the lowest income communities of color in places like the Bronx. So what happens if that experiment goes badly? What happens if it leads to an outbreak of gun violence and gang violence and youth violence? Like, you live in a wealthy white neighborhood in an ivory tower, insulated from the consequences of your utopianism, whereas my constituents are poor people of color who have to live with high costs and high crime rates. And we should be speaking to the lived experience of people of color.
Yeah, you ever talk to them about their health care? You ever talk to them about their educational needs? You just said that education is the gateway to economic prosperity.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we reform education to make that more available to them?
Yeah.
Instead, you're talking about the southern border.
When you consider some of the most utopian ideas in politics, whether it's abolishing prisons or abolishing the police or abolishing ICE, those ideas do not come from working class people from places like the Bronx. Those ideas typically come from activists and academics who are out of touch with working class people.
So, Congressman, you spoke about how just now
Bingo.
the Democrats
You're
have
right,
lost
Selene,
this portion of their base, this idea of the black, brown, and white voters together. But yet at the same time, we are seeing just now from the new administration memos going out to federal agencies last night saying to pause, to put on leave anyone who they deem a DEI hire, which it is being interpreted as a first step towards eliminating those people. So get us, first of all, just those positions. So give us your reaction just to that news, but also how do you then rectify this? How do you square the circle here from more voters leaning towards Trump, even as the administration takes these steps?
Look, I disapprove of the actions of the Trump administration. And for me, Trump lacks the character to be president of the United States. But I'll speak bluntly. I'm just not aware of I've never had a constituent tell me that his or her highest priority was DEI. My constituents tell me we're concerned about crime rates, about the cost of living, about housing. We want you to focus on those
live in
issues.
fucking New York.
And when did Kamala Harris ever bring up DEI? It's
Yeah.
just the fact that she was black.
She didn't fucking run on any of that shit at all.
Going to lie. I obviously disapprove of just about everything Donald Trump has done so far. But we have to focus on the issues that matter to voters. And for example, Donald Trump's decision to pardon, the perpetrators of January 6th who assaulted police officers. That's something that's
Call them terrorists.
They are literally fucking terrorists.
Call them
by
terrorists.
fucking definition. By definition,
there should be
everybody
a
who
cheat
showed
sheet.
up on January 6th, on January 6th, by definition, are all fucking
Are
terrorists.
terrorists.
Yeah,
Call them terrorists.
by definition.
There should be like a cheat sheet of like I'm talking about top-down leadership, guys. I know everybody wants it to be grassroots. We need to take the top of the house.
Yes.
deeply unpopular and deeply offensive to people across the political spectrum. And that's an issue on which we should be focusing.
Congressman, you and I were speaking in the break, and you made
that's an issue on which we should be focusing. So how are we supposed to focus on that issue other than complain about it? Because it's done. It's done.
Yeah.
What should you can extrapolate this? See, this is what makes me want to be a coach for these people is you can segue that into not only dropping the terrorist bomb, but saying, let's never forget why January 6th happened.
Yes.
And let's make sure January 6th never happens again by making sure a Republican president never happens again.
Yeah, it literally wouldn't have happened without fucking Trump. Period.
I mean,
Period. End of story.
That
End of
comment about
story.
DEI. So going forwards, how do you think your party can position itself as best as possible to
Fucking,
take back
I
the House
witnessed that
in the
shit. I
2026
fucking watched
midterms?
it
Is it,
as
some
it
people
happened.
suggested, by making sure that more candidates
God
like yourself
damn
from
it.
the kind of center right of the Democratic Party run for office?
Look, I feel like we should, and this is true of every elected official, we should always challenge ourselves to ensure that we're remaining in touch with our constituents. Because when you're Washington, D.C., you can easily become out of touch, you can easily become insulated. And when deciding what position to take on an issue, we should ask ourselves,
So
what
much
is the
for
position
law
of the
and
American
order,
people? Like,
Pyro.
if this were a referendum, take on an issue, we should ask ourselves, what is the position of the American people? Like, if this.
Okay, so that is the definition of lack of leadership.
Yeah.
Leadership is knowing what your people that you represent want and making sure they want it for the right reasons, making sure they know what they're talking about. For example, with the southern border and the immigration law that Kamala wanted to reintroduce, that was not the right bill.
Yeah.
That was not the right bill. That was a decoy that Chuck Schumer used to trap Trump and trap Mike Johnson. Ugh.
If this were a referendum,
Yeah.
how would the American people vote on that issue? Because I feel like you cannot veer too far from the.
It's just
like, if this were a
consumer
referendum position to
politics.
Take on an issue, we should ask
It
ourselves,
really is.
what is the position of the American people? Like, if this were a referendum, how would the American people vote on that issue?
Well, sometimes the American people need to be educated on issues. Sometimes the American people are sick and tired of hearing politicians tell them that immigrants are pieces of shit who don't deserve to be here.
Yeah.
Sometimes leadership is stepping up and saying, I am so sick of hearing everybody hate on immigrants. Let me stick up for immigrants for a second.
Yeah, let alone fucking any marginalized fucking group and like to begin with. Crying out loud. They're all
Because I
fucking
feel like
cowards.
You cannot veer too far from the public without risking a public backlash. And on immigration.
And that means losing your job.
Yeah.
Right? You can't veer too far from the American public or you might lose your job. That's garbage, man. If you're connected with your community that you represent, you can tell them things they don't want to hear.
Yeah.
You can talk to them. It's a matter of communication skills, and this guy's communication skills are pedestrian.
Yeah.
The pendulum was swung so far to the left that it has led to a public backlash that has made our country more restrictionist, more right-wing, more reactionary, not less.
Oh, so it's the left's fault. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, that checks out because we swung a bit too fucking far to the left. We have Donald Trump and the fucking fascists in power. We have Project 2025 fucking implemented right now. It's like this motherfucker didn't pay attention at all to the Kamala Harris campaign and how they tried to fucking capitulate to the right on fucking various issues that they harped away on for fucking years at that point. Fucking bullshit. If they actually did capitulate to the far left as they fucking call it, maybe if they actually changed positions on how we approach Gaza, all those votes that went to Biden in 2020 would have actually went to fucking Kamala Harris, the Bernie coalition, the Squad coalition, the progressives. But Kamala Harris didn't campaign with them. She didn't fucking speak to them. And here we fucking are. Like, they ran a center-right campaign. Unfucking deniable. I have to piss. You're going to have to take over for the next minute if that's okay.
Yeah.
I'll be literally fucking right back.
No, not a problem. I mean, it's the issue that I struggled with for a little while is immigration, because there's this built-in cultural assumption in American society that if someone's getting something, I want to know that they're getting it for a good reason. Why aren't I getting it? It's not fair, yada, yada, yada. This whole culture of making sure that I get mine, screw everybody else. Immigration is where that cultural assumption lives. It is absolutely outrageous. But I would encourage you guys to get on Open Secrets and check out AIPAC's giving, because it is amazing how many of these politicians are getting more than $1 million per from AIPAC. It's just absolutely absurd. Here, why don't I just share this tab with you guys? These are the biggest beneficiaries of AIPAC. Joe Biden got $4 million. Robert Menendez, independent from New Jersey, got $2.5 million. Hillary Clinton got $2.3 million. I mean, this is all lifetime. So Chuck Schumer's gotten 1.7 million. As mentioned, Hakeem Jeffries got 1.6. I mean, the list goes on, y'all. Campaign finance is the root of all evil in American politics, and a reckoning is coming. MSDNC has taken an absolute nosedive in ratings ever since the election and ever since Mika and Joe went down to Mar-a-Lago to meet with Trump. So wherever you're getting your information, if you're on the left, watch Morning Joe to figure out where the baby boomer liberals are at, because it invigorates you to understand that the only way progressivism is really going to have a chance is if we break through a lot of these cultural assumptions.
I have 21
about
viewers.
Issues like immigration, issues like education. I mean, Trump says in one of the debates, I have concepts of a plan as to how to fix healthcare. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Not even
and
close.
Neither do Democrats. How are you going to fix healthcare? Oh, we're going to tweak some stuff. And that's what Bernie said on his most recent interview with Hasanabi, was that this is a political party that doesn't think the system's broken.
Yeah.
They don't even get out the gates of saying that the system is broken.
No,
and that's step one.
It really fucking is.
For any Democratic candidate, for me to have my respect, you have got to acknowledge that this system of conservative capitalism, it's not a version of capitalism that could actually have made sense, because a lot of these other Scandinavian countries, they're capitalist societies too. They've just found ways to manage the relationship between the people and the government and the private sector a lot better. And that's what matters most, is the intersection between the citizen, the federal government, and the private sector. That's what makes society work. And in this country, the private sector owns the government.
Yeah. No, yeah. Pyro says, meanwhile, Trump for the second time has refused to take his presidential pay. Doesn't mean shit. He has the wealthiest people in the country, not only in his cabinet, but funding him. Like, did you watch the inauguration? 3 of the world's richest fucking people attended that. You think they're just there for fun? No, they want fucking favors. They want to be gods.
Yeah.
They want to be fucking gods. They want more favors for their companies, for their ventures, so they have more control, more for themselves. Why do you think fucking Elon Musk is going after Italy, fucking Japan, Canada, Germany? He wants to spread his influence. And he can't do that if he wasn't the fucking richest person in the world.
Yeah, but his days are numbered. Somebody's going to take him out.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah. I got another one for you. This is my personal favorite. This guy is the Antichrist right here. He and the two Steves.
Trump is literally an atheist. Pyro.
With us, there's so much happening so quickly. But let me get your thoughts on.
He's not a Christian. Go ahead,
mentioned in the intro here, which is that the Trump administration is taking steps to deputize U.S. state and local law enforcement to work with ICE. How would that work? And clearly, there's going to be some cities where they're going to refuse to do that, right?
Yeah, so this is an example of how President Trump
Alex.
A vast and broad array of federal statutory authorities to secure the homeland. Authorities that Congress has enacted that exist in statute but that have never been used before. The Secretary of Homeland Security has the authority to deputize both federal law enforcement as well as state and local law enforcement and the National Guard to conduct immigration enforcement activity.
Perfect point.
Has already used that authority
literally true.
Other federal law enforcement, including all the law enforcement branches at DOJ, that authority will be leveraged shortly to deputize state and local law enforcement to conduct immigration arrests as well.
Watch the inauguration.
Authority known as 287G in the Immigration and Nationality Act, they'll be used to enroll National Guard operating in state capacity to assist and support the Border Patrol in the conduct of immigration enforcement.
No,
You've
Trump's
also
not a
seen
Christian.
referenced the military deportation flights that are taking place. For the first time in American history, under President Trump's command and control, military aircraft are being used to remove illegal aliens from this country.
This
as part
fucking
of a
Nazi
vast,
dude.
coordinated interagency operation to defend the homeland and repel the invasion. These are just some of the many authorities that President Trump has leveraged in his first days in office to end the migrant invasion of the U.S. homeland.
So I would just point out, we just played a clip in the tease, Steve.
It doesn't matter. He'll say whatever whatever
I don't have any more authority
to
on this.
gain
Congress is gonna have
favor.
to do something. But everything that you're pointing out, these are statutes that are on the books already. These are things that.
Oh no,
Homeland
like if he was
Security-
okay, hold on, pause it real quick. I need to respond to this guy. It doesn't matter if like I don't like he could be a Christian all he wants, honestly. Like as long as he's actually a Christian.
Wait, your boy CNC Pyro is saying he has confessed himself he is a Christian time and time again.
Doesn't fucking mean shit.
Since when does Donald Trump word mean anything? Since when does his word mean anything?
Do you remember when he said 2 Corinthians instead of 2 Corinthians?
Yeah, he doesn't.
When he was asked what his favorite Bible verse was, and he couldn't give him a straight answer. When he was asked if he prefers the Old Testament or the New Testament, and he said both. It's like he doesn't fucking know because he doesn't fucking care. He just appeals to evangelicals to get their vote. That's how it's always been. That's how it's always been.
Alex Easton made an interesting point, though. What about the $1 billion the Democrats spent on the campaign?
Yeah,
Alex, very good point.
Yeah.
And that has to do with the consulting class.
Yes.
And a lot of people got rich.
Yep.
Finding creative ways for Kamala to make to spend all that money. They had the Sphere in Vegas going for Kamala. I mean, is that going to help you win votes
No,
as
it's
much
not.
as standing up for immigrants or talking about student loan debt forgiveness or universal health care? No, it's not going to matter. American people are stupid, but they're not that stupid.
Yeah, I like listen, we're not saying that Christians have to be perfect, that Christians have to be scholars and whatnot, but like look no further than this week. Trump and JD Vance and all of MAGA world's reaction to that bishop that pleaded with Trump to show mercy on the vulnerable.
Hold on, I want to take care of Megan here real quick. Just saying, can you put up her chat?
Sure.
It says Megan says just saying no one is in a place to tell someone else how to practice their religion or that they're not a member for knowing enough. That's where you're wrong, because I've studied the New Testament in both an academic setting, in a Sunday school setting, and in an analytical setting for the many episodes that I did on the Who Are MAGA series, Bible Beaters. Check out that text, because if you actually do study the New Testament, it's very easy to figure out who the real Christians and fake Christians are.
Yeah.
And intuitively, what's a better way to destroy the integrity and the cultural and societal value of a religion that celebrates immigrants, that encourages people to treat each other with respect and love, right? Is it to take that religion straight on, or is it to act as if you are part of that religion and then fractionalize that religion? Because that's what conservatism has done. They have fractionalized Christianity into conservative Christians and real Christians, because you can't be a real Christian and be a conservative American. There is nothing Christian about American conservatism.
Bingo.
It is,
yeah.
Fuck you. I got mine. This is a Christian nation, which isn't true.
Secular.
And they try to put their values into our society so they can feel better about themselves. Not modern day American conservative Christianity, just like I say in one of my Who Are MAGA episodes, is narcissistic Christianity. It's not about Christ or his message. It's about them feeling like they're going to heaven because they're on the right team.
Yeah, that's literally it. Like, like you nailed it. You fucking nailed it so good that I forgot what I was actually going to say.
We can go back to we can go back to Antichrist Miller if you want.
Yeah,
he's only got a couple more minutes.
No, of
Let's
course.
Go back to this
fucking
this guy's a fucking gold mine for content.
No, for real. This guy. If he wasn't the fucking Antichrist, he'd be a subservient to the fucking Antichrist. This fucking guy.
Employed, he could have done all of these things, correct?
Yes, every single authority that I've mentioned and many more.
The world's brutal, Pyro.
The president went all the way back in 1798 to 2025 and identified every statute in existence that allows him to secure and defend the American homeland. So 1798, we have the Alien Enemies Act, which will be used shortly to remove illegal alien gang members such as Trinidad from the United States. Congress also passed Remain in Mexico Authority that President Trump was the first president in American history to use. As of today, Martha, that is operational. It is up and running, and we are using Remain in Mexico. President Trump is also reactivating our Safe Third agreements to end asylum fraud across the southwest border. And as mentioned earlier, President Trump is using all federal law.
Hold on, your chat's blowing up. I want to make sure.
No, you're right.
CNC Pyro, you have let your hate cloud your better judgment. Let me tell you something, man. My judgment informs my hate. Because my hate is righteous. You know why? Because there's nothing wrong with hating evil. And MAGA and Project 2025 is fucking evil. And if you don't agree with that, either go do your homework and try to figure it out on your own and figure out how wrong you are on your own, or find somebody else who you'll listen to.
No,
because I can't help you. I can't help you if you think that there's anything Christian or good about MAGA trash Project 2025.
That's the fucking thing. That's really all this comes down to. I need every single one of you watching to understand right the fuck now. There is a reckoning coming between conservatism and Christianity. And this is a video that I actually have in the works. This is like, of course, I do my live streams. Me and Deter do our show. This is the Left Coast. By the way, subscribe. I know there's like 15 to 20 of you guys watching. I really, really appreciate it. But the thing is, conservatives are going after that bishop for pleading with Trump to show mercy to the vulnerable. What the fuck do you think Jesus preached? I'm a fucking atheist. And even I understand that Jesus sees all of us as victims of sin. And it is not our place to judge. And to sit here and cheer on obvious atrocities carried out by false prophets like fucking Donald Trump is fucking disgusting. That is something you're going to have to reconcile with. Do you serve Donald Trump and MAGA, or do you serve your Christian God? Let's go ahead and continue with this.
So Ryan Lovett says, I love how heathen turds tell me I'm Christianing wrong. Yeah, I will, because I know what I'm talking about. And secondly, this Solenia has a very poignant point that she made. Of course, if you read the Bible, you would know Jesus said his disciples would be known by their works.
Yes. Yes.
Couldn't have said it better than myself, Solenia. Think
Perfect.
Lovely to have you in chat. You sound like a fucking real Christian. That's what you sound like.
Absolutely.
Law enforcement to support and assist in the identification and removal of priority illegal alien targets from the United States out of the country. And of course, the Department of Defense has been unleashed both on the border and with respect to aircraft to end the illegal immigration into our country.
It's
because God isn't actually
when I look at sound bites like the one we played on the way in, where you have someone exiting the country who said, I'm telling the message is don't cross. They're sending all of us back. And then I want to play this tape of a migrant who was taken into custody in the criminal roundup. Here's what he had to say. You may have seen this tape. I want to get your reaction to it. Let's watch.
I'm not going back to Haiti. You feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama.
There you go. There you go, Solenia. Yeah,
so Solenia, if you're
you're right.
Not to mislabel you. I don't want to mislabel you. You sound like
the thing is,
you sound like you know more about the New Testament than a conservative Christian. How about that? Because I'm not a Christian either, but I did my homework and I appreciate people who did theirs.
Of course.
After you heard what he said, and cheering on Biden and Obama. What's your reaction to that? And what's the impact on people?
No, literally, Ryan, try to get in? Atheists literally know more about the Bible than Christians do, because there's like a lot of atheists I know wouldn't be atheists if they didn't read the Bible and realize it's full of not only contradictions, it's full of atrocities, and it's filled with it's just filled with nonsense. It's filled with fucking nonsense.
Well, the Old Testament is very much
speaking of the New Testament.
But the Old Testament is the kind of gets the reputation of brimstone and fire,
give us a
right?
break.
Like,
yeah,
but the Old Testament is very much of a vengeful God that's described in the Old Testament. And the concept of forgiveness and that we are born into sin is actually, like, if you extrapolate some of the lessons of the New Testament, for example, confirmation bias is actually alluded to in the New Testament. Paul talked about it when he was talking about training the ministers. He said, you got to train your ministers right, because if you don't train your ministers right, then the followers are going to go follow some douchebag minister who doesn't know what the hell he's talking about and preaches the false word of God.
Bingo.
So, I mean, and you've got to kind of separate the gospels from Paul. Like, and by the way, if you ever want to know if someone's a real Christian or has actually studied the text, ask them how many words there are for love in ancient Greek. Because if they don't know the answer to that question, then they don't understand the importance of interpretation of the original text. By the way, there are 6 words for love in ancient Greek. So you got to do your homework here, guys. Let the people who did their homework lead the way on these conversations. And not people like Ryan Lovett here who thinks he knows everything.
I literally would not be here today if it was not for the atheist community of the early 2010s. I'm talking about the people who took a look at the abundance of Christian rhetoric, not only in politics, but in society as well. And the lack of evidence to support the claims, yet these people want to hold jurisdiction and authority over an entire society. This...
It's narcissism. It's narcissism.
They're not projecting.
They're not intelligent or talented enough to ascend to a position of power. So they would rather feel like their power that is influential in their life is on their same team, is part of their same culture. And I talk about it in one of my essays that superficial Christians, let's call them, they don't know the text. They want someone higher up on the social hierarchy to tell them what they think. So Ryan Lovett here is in your chat. Ryan, let me talk to you directly. You have very low existential IQ. If you do know anything about intelligence, there's what's called, what's his name? Howard Gardner's 9 different forms of intelligence. Existential IQ is actually a form of intelligence. The big questions: why are we here? What are we supposed to do with our lives? Yada, yada, yada. You have such a low existential IQ that you cannot come up with those answers on your own, and therefore are reliant to a 2,000-year-old text that you need interpreted for you, that you can't even interpret yourself because you don't have the academic credentials to do it yourself. So you go to church on Sundays and the preacher tells you to vote Republican because that's what good Christians do, when all that preacher is doing what he's told to do by the powers that be, because it's in his best financial interest for that to be the case.
Yes.
So,
I mean,
Ryan, and this is someone else said about judging. He said, I don't think atheists. Yeah, this is Megan. Okay, we like you, Megan, but I don't think atheists can judge real Christianity. So you guys should ideally move on. No. So I will judge Christianity.
This is where I come from.
This is a big word for Americans, is judgment. This is a big word for Americans. Don't judge not lest ye be judged. Right. Well, I say in the very first episode of my YouTube channel, feel free to judge me, because I'm going to be doing a lot of judging others. If you are less intelligent, less informed, and less societally in tune with America, I'm going to call you an intellectually inferior person. If you think that MAGA is good for America, somebody just said, oh, he's done some good things. Trump's done some good things and some bad things. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Okay. You're living in denial. This
show wouldn't exist. This show literally wouldn't exist if I didn't come across Deter's initial videos that he put out on his channel when he was first starting out his channel. I found it brilliant enough to be like, okay, let's link up, let's chat, and let's eventually it turned into this show. Like religion is literally like it's just the opium of the masses. Like there is so much hypocrisy among conservative Christians, especially, and that's why I said I think there is there's a reckoning coming, because there's so much contradiction between the ideals of these the these self-proclaimed Christians, and these self-proclaimed conservatives, that like how is this supposed to carry on? How are you supposed to look at?
Well, I do it
the
like this. So
treatment
we got.
of-
So there's someone we should bring up right now, and his name's Benjamin Dixon, who is a very hardcore Christian and also a very hardcore lefty. And I respect him and his Christian identity because he actually practices what he preaches. And the real authentic message of Christ is one of charity, is one of socialism, really. Give
Yeah.
away all your possessions and follow me. So, you know, I don't hate on religion per se. I hate on bad religion.
Yes.
I hate on religion when it's
Yes.
used as a political tool, which is what conservative Christianity is. And if you're ever talking to someone, you see, this is what conservative Christians try to do. They try to say, well, show it to me in the Bible. Like, that's not what it says in the Bible. Or here's some more scripture. And they just have this one playbook that they draw from. And my challenge to them is, if you can communicate your values to me in a secular way, then I will respect them. If you have to use that 2,000-year-old text to explain your value system to me, I have no respect for it. Look at what has been done I mean, the Bible was used to justify slavery. Okay?
Yeah.
The Bible was used to justify slavery.
Yeah.
So
and,
shut
and
up.
Also, the Bible permitted abortion.
Yeah, the honey potion or whatever.
Yep. The bitter water. Yep.
Yes, thank you. Hell yeah, 9. Yeah, it really is that simple, isn't it? And we talked about this a bunch. The founding fathers, okay? They were all pretty well educated people. And you know what a lot of that education had to do with? History, particularly Western European history, and the 300 years of religious wars that led up to the founding of America, that preceded the founding of America.
Yep.
Okay. They decided that they didn't want to bring that bullshit baggage across the Atlantic Ocean for their new country.
Yep.
It wasn't just about protecting the church from the corruption of the political institutions. It was about protecting both.
Yeah.
And basically saying what I just said a second ago, if you can't find a secular way to communicate your values or positions that derive from your religion, then I'm not going to respect them.
No,
because
of course.
Those books that you're relying on were written a hell of a long time ago, and a lot of things have changed.
Yep.
Most obviously the global economy in which we now live.
Yeah. Yeah. No, honestly, like, so if everybody can understand, I know there's like 19, 20 of you watching, make sure you subscribe, keep up with us. It really means a whole hell of a lot. But listen, the only thing that the hardcore conservatives, the Republican Party, what have you, operate on are hypocrisy and double standards. And they will weaponize Christianity to whatever extent it will allow them to go. If there's something that they cannot justify, something that is inhumane, they will point to Christianity, they will point to the Bible, they will point to their faith as a justification, just like the fucking Nazis did in their dehumanization of the Jewish people.
Yeah,
there
by
is
the way,
there is no difference. I defy you to tell me. I defy you to tell me what fucking difference there is.
So one of my crazy conservative friends, I'm not friends with him anymore, tried to tell me that Hitler was a Christian. And I'm like, no, he wasn't. And
he utilized it to get as a means to an end.
but he didn't really. It wasn't a big part of their propaganda.
Hey, have a good night,
and
Selenia. I really
he wa-
appreciate you joining in tonight. Have a good night. It really means a lot that you're here. Take it easy. I'll see you in the next stream.
Jesus was a Jew. Okay.
Yes.
Jesus was a Jew. There's no way Hitler was down with Jesus. Okay.
That's right,
Give me a
Megan.
break.
That's right.
CNC
That's right.
CNC Pyro, by the way, I want to take this guy on because he's funny. This is blasphemy, guys. I will pray for the good Lord rebukes you quickly for this. Yeah, well, keep your prayers for yourself, dumbass, because you're voting against your economic interests and by voting Republican, unless you're a 1%er with an investment portfolio.
For every MAGA type, for every Trump supporter that's in here, I want to know exactly what you think about the Stargate initiative that was announced by Donald Trump on day 3 of his second term, alongside Larry Ellison, Sam Altman, and some other guy who I forget the name of. The announcement of $500 billion over time being invested into AI. And then Larry Ellison going on to say, with this incredible breakthrough of technology, with this investment, with this breakthrough in AI, we can create cancer vaccines based on mRNA that can be personalized for every single American. What the fuck do you think about that? I want you to reconcile with that. I want you to go and watch that that announcement, that committee, like between all of them. I want to know what you all think of that. I'm genuinely curious, because that, above anything, above the fucking multitude of things that Trump has done his first week, I want to know especially what MAGA thinks of that.
All right, do you want to go back to Miller?
Let's go back. Let's finish that off, and then we'll do the China thing.
4 years of national humiliation and embarrassment are over. Illegal aliens are no longer exempt from our laws. Far from it. They are the priority for immigration enforcement, for law enforcement in this country. And so that illegal alien you mentioned, he's being shipped back. And every single illegal alien that is identified for removal is going to be successfully removed from this country. We are not going to allow the trespass and invasion of this country anymore. And the Department of Justice is going to aggressively use its authorities to prosecute immigration crime. Child traffickers are going to be going to jail for decades. Human smugglers are going to be put behind bars.
Okay.
Individuals engaged in sex trafficking are going to spend the rest of their lives on this planet in jail and behind bars. Local officials who violate our laws are also
does
subject to
that
enforcement of our
include?
immigration law.
I mean, we have
so every resource we have is going to be deployed and it's going to be used, Martha.
I love the message that's going to gangs who have made even more money on trafficking people than drugs in recent years. 16 states have known gang presence and cartel
Thank
operations
you, Ryan.
in them. But I want to
really
something
appreciate
that,
your
we just got
engagement.
moments ago from ABC is reporting this, and that's all I've got on it so far. ICE agents denied entry to a Southside elementary school in the Chicago public school system, and they're saying that they followed protocols, the principal says, and did not allow the agents inside. Are you aware of that situation, and is that something that is acceptable? We've heard schools and churches as sanctuary spots.
There's no sanctuary for criminal aliens in this country, nor is there a sanctuary for child trafficking, for child smuggling, for child endangerment. ICE officers will take the actions necessary to protect the lives and safety of our children and to identify individuals who are involved in the smuggling and trafficking of our children. In order to conduct these investigations, in order to protect the safety and security of children all across America, federal law enforcement needs unrestricted access to conduct basic investigations.
Sorry.
500,000 children were trafficked.
This Ryan guy is
that is a
really
stain on our national
fucking
conscience,
funny,
a stain on our
dude.
history. It's ending now. And the Department of Justice, working with the Department of Homeland Security, is going to prioritize the end of human trafficking, the end of human smuggling, and the entire machinery of government is going to be used to stop the cartels, to stop the coyotes, to stop the traffickers, to stop the smugglers from preying on our citizens and exploiting our country. We are not going to be trampled
All
anymore.
lies,
We're not
by
going
the
to
way.
be trampled anymore.
All
We're
total
certainly not going to
bullshit.
be abused and violated anymore. We're going to be a free country again, Martha.
Well, it's
Who's uglier, Ben Shapiro or Stephen Miller? God
Stephen
is
Miller.
Speaking of God, God
Stephen-
is telling you.
and the
God
thing
is
is-
telling you that this guy is evil just by looking at him.
I mean,
Okay?
the thing is, like,
Sometimes the looks are actually all you need to use to judge someone. And when it comes to Ben Shapiro, Steve Bannon, Stephen Miller, the whole Trump family, all you got to do is look at him and be like, yep, those motherfuckers are evil.
yeah. The thing is, like Ben Shapiro, if he never would have like gotten into like hardcore conservatism, he'd be a decent looking guy. He'd be a funny guy. He'd be a guy like that would be like unintentionally fucking funny.
Who?
Ben Shapiro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for real. Like,
Something that we
I actually I find his take on every single Star Wars movie so far actually kind of interesting. But like the fact that he's also like a fucking dumbass and will like simp for the Republican Party, like the fact that he fucking downplayed the Elon Musk Sig Heil says everything you fucking need to know. But oh my god. Megan, yes,
too much
no,
of a
I
blind eye
do
for the
kind of like Shapiro, but not for his political takes. For the most part, I will tell you that.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro's evil. He's evil.
He really is.
And
Yeah.
the abuse of children and the slave labor that is going on in some of these factories
Thanks.
in the Southwest. And I look forward to talking to you more about that. Stephen Miller, thank you very much.
Okay, Sage, whatever you
All
say.
We got any more of your
I got a
friends
lot.
here?
I got a lot. I got a lot of
Let's see,
funny
Sage.
ones.
Sadly, most individuals such as yourself miss Jesus' greatest miracles hidden in plain sight.
Hidden
and they're
in plain
all
sight.
This verified through his story. The son of a poor carpenter is covered more. Yeah. Just so you know, the New Testament, as you have been taught it, is a patriarchal story designed to keep you in your place. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news there, Siege. But you got caught up in the self-righteous bullshit, and you've been told that you're special, and you're not.
Yeah, for real. Hey, thanks for
You're
tuning
not
in, Invisible American. It means a lot that you're tuning in. We see you. We appreciate you. We love the engagement, and we do got a fucking we got a crazy 4 years ahead of us, Deter. Like that's like undeniable for sure.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's gonna be painful, and I think that the most reasonable expectation is that it's gonna be 2028 will be a lot like 2008 and a lot like 2020, where things get so bad that no matter who the incumbent is, the incumbent party is going to lose. So it'll probably be either Newsom,
Literally?
maybe Wes Moore out of Maryland, but Newsom seems like he's the one who's up next.
No, a fucking course. As unfortunate as it is, fuck Gavin Newsom. Can't stand this fucking elitist coastal fucking Democrat ass. It really does. It really is unfortunate, honestly. The fact that me and Alita, thank God for Lord I wine. No kidding. I ran out, so I decided to open up my fucking Andre wine cocktails. It was a pineapple mimosa. It's literally like a fucking sparkling mimosa thing. And oh shit.
This is a good point.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Nine's got a good point. Both parties just set each other up for the next term. It's a nightmare. Hey, you might be right, Mayor. Yeah, I mean, you might be right. Hell yeah.
I mean, seriously, like, what are the Democrats doing? Honestly,
I mean, based on the Democrats' capitulative behavior, I'm inclined to agree with you, man.
Like, their total fucking absence, like for
No
the moment.
backbone.
Yeah, there's literally fucking worms. All of them.
Well, I mean,
fucking worms.
The APEC funding is enough to get you to figure out that one institution's giving to so many politicians is kind of a microcosm for what's wrong with our system, which is money in politics.
Yeah.
And you've got crackheads on your chat talking about how Jesus is Lord and that's what makes me a Republican, and they don't even take that at face value.
Listen, guys. Jesus and the Christian God, they aren't real. They're fake. They're made up.
Well,
they are mind control.
In fairness, Jesus probably existed. And
maybe
whether or not.
Maybe.
So what the likely situation, the likely story of Christ was that it was multiple people, and then all the stories became one. All the stories became one person.
Yin yang.
But,
yin yang right here.
Yeah, Ryan's going after you aesthetically.
Right? No, that as tends to happen when they have no fucking argument, but it happens. It's just whatever.
Oh yeah, 9 says I would like to see a direct democracy.
Me
We all
too.
have a cell phone where we could vote on everything. Yeah, man. I don't know
That'd
about
be
using
great.
technology to administer the elections.
It's inevitable.
But yes, we should have a direct democracy. And in places like Australia, you have to vote. You
Yes.
actually get fined if you don't vote.
I like that.
See,
I
there
really,
we go.
really
Ryan
like
Lovett.
that.
Ryan Lovett again. See, this is a good example. I'm glad Ryan's getting so talkative because this is the kind of Christian bully that you run into on the right, where they think they know everything, and as soon as you go directly after their core belief system, which is their religion, they throw temper tantrums like children. Because intellectually speaking, that's what they are.
No, yeah,
you're a child,
this is,
Ryan. No one respects you. No one respects you.
Yeah,
who
like,
has an education.
This is literally where I come from. I would not have gotten into politics if it wasn't for the early atheist movement of the early 2010s. Like, it really like the prime directive for me. I need everybody to understand the prime directive for me is like, if there's no evidence backing your claims that is inarguable and unfalsifiable, I have every right to dismiss it because extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. I remember in 2014 when Bill Nye went against creationist Ken Ham. That was a very significant cultural turning point for not only me but a lot of people, because if you're trying to like use science to justify the Bible like Ken Ham did, and you go against actual evidence, 480,000 years of ice core samples, among countless other things that were brought up by Bill Nye in that debate, you're not going to convince anybody. That's where I come from. And of course, this extends to fucking politics. I believe in the reduction of harm reduction in general, and like I can't stand the Democratic Party. Neither me or Deter. We can't fucking stand the Democrats. We criticize them all the time because of their fecklessness, their spinelessness, their out of touchness, if that's even a fucking term. Because we care about people. We know where the problems are and what the solutions are. But the problem is,
and that's not what makes us special. Just to be interject
like
really quick.
it doesn't make us special.
That doesn't make us special. What does make us special is advocating for a different political strategy to get those solutions.
Yes,
that's what we're advocating for here. Is an
it's
aggressive,
not in this current
unapologetic, non-violent sociocultural revolution akin to the civil rights movement, because that's what's required, y'all. That's what's required. I mean, and if you want to, Ryan, by the way, Ryan Lovett, go ahead and check out Jesus's thoughts on the rich and immigrants, and tell me he would be a fucking Republican in today's America, you idiot. God, know your text, dude. I would smoke you in a debate, and I haven't done that. I haven't gotten back into the New Testament for a year.
That's the
and I still know
thing.
Scripture better than you.
People like Ryan, like these debates have existed for over a decade. These exact debates have been around for a long ass time. They have been settled. If you don't understand like who comes out on top and who has the better arguments, you need to look back on the history of YouTube between atheists or between scientists and creationists and Christians and Catholics, whoever the fuck. and decide for yourself. Look back on Aaron Ra, on Genetically Modified Skeptic, on The Amazing Atheist, on Bill Nye, on fucking Christopher Hitchens, on Sam
or just
Harris.
know or just study history and
For
look at
crying
the
out loud,
amount
for
of violence and
real.
war and death that has
Thank you,
been
Braven.
waged in the name of God. More people have been killed in the name of God than any other reason. So give me a fucking break.
Cheers. Cheers for real, honestly. I guess
so. Megan said we don't know the solutions though. We don't maybe know all the solutions, but we know quite a few of them.
We don't claim to know all the solutions.
Right, but we do
either.
know. But we do. But I was just saying that doesn't make us special. There are plenty of smart policy advocates out there who have the same, who know a lot more about universal healthcare than we do.
Yeah.
You know, for example, this is a good example actually of healthcare. So I want to evolve the political strategy surrounding healthcare and the political marketing surrounding it to being not just Medicare for all, because a lot of doctors don't like Medicare. It should be Medicare for all or something better.
Yes.
Like those little, that's kind of what we do here is we take the good policy and add salesmanship to it. How do we sell this policy to the American public? And that's the antithesis of what Richie Torres was just advocating for,
right?
Which is basically just give the baby his bottle. The baby being the voters, they're whining for their bottle, so give them their bottle, which they think is a hardline, heartless southern border policy. That's what they think that the citizens want. It's not. People want an immigration system that makes sense. People want someone to stand up for these poor goddamn immigrants who are slaving away and don't have time to contribute to the public discourse because they're too busy slaving away 2 or 3 jobs. They don't have any time.
Yeah. Listen, Ryan, if you can demonstrate in this chat for all of us right now the unfalsifiable proof and evidence that God exists, we will welcome it. In the meantime, I think
so. The only way, so I can actually do that for you within the context of evolution. So, so the problem,
move on.
The problem, we can move on after this, but let me just get this in because it's it's
no,
important.
of course.
I want people to take this with them.
Yeah.
But okay, so the problem with evolution's connotation and the way that we use it in public discourse is that there's the subtext of progress, right? If something is evolved, it is superior to that which came before. Not true. Evolution just means an adaptation to the environment. Now, the vehicle for evolution is randomness, right? The randomness of genetic mutation. Those mutations are either beneficial or disadvantageous for the organism. And so the strength of species, scientists can use better language than I can to come up with it. But basically,
the mammals came along. Randomness. But
basically, it's the randomness of cell regeneration that is the vehicle for evolution. That randomness is something that science can't really explain. So if you want to say that the randomness is God, okay, fine. That works as long as you're not overstepping and saying evolution is God. We can have a conversation. As long as your religion motivates you to be kind to your neighbor, as long as you are actually living what the word preaches, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like I got no problem with that. That's why Buddhists are the best, man, because Buddhists are all about like individual responsibility for your own shit. All right, hell yeah, has got another one. Our government should help the other governments create a homeland they wouldn't want to leave. Well, that actually it was a big reason why there was a surge under Trump's first administration for immigrants at the southern border was because we cut off aid to places like Guatemala and El Salvador.
Yeah, no, I agree. Megan, complexity of the human eyeball, that happened over the course of millions upon millions of years.
Yeah, that's a cliche.
That's it is a cliche.
Stop fighting with science. Stop fighting. Science is not.
It's creationist talking point.
Science is not trying to pick a fight with religion. Religion is trying to pick a fight with science.
That's how it's always been. That's how it's been as long as I fucking follow it. Like again,
since Darwin, really.
No, for
since
real.
Darwin came along.
Yeah,
really.
no, for real. I would not be into politics if it wasn't for the early atheist movement of like the early 2010s, because like it really does come down to like show your fucking evidence, show your like show facts, like shit that I like any logical and reasonable person is like incapable of arguing with, incapable of proving wrong. Like it's literally that simple. That's where like a lot of like where I come from, at least. Like it's where I'm fucking motivated, honestly.
One thing that I'll move on to what you want to talk about, StatPat, but just like to give people the
stop checking off the Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like there's a reason why he had his own fucking show. Like I have the Cosmos DVD. There's a reason why he's so renowned. Like of course he's kind of a pompous ass nowadays, but like
whatever, he's smart and he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have I don't have a problem. I don't have a people mistake confidence for arrogance. It's like if you've done your homework, if you've done your homework and you know what you're talking about, and you quickly realize that the person you're talking to doesn't know as much as you do, chances are you're going to come across as arrogant, maybe even a little superior. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Really? Don't you want superior intellects in positions of power?
Yeah, no.
This guy Ryan Lovett is so fucking hilarious, man.
No, I love him. I hope he's subscribed, and I hope he tunes into our future streams. Okay,
but just the approach though is when you're dealing with these kinds of people, y'all, for those progressives out there that get frustrated talking with conservatives, is the way to really do it is to just ask good questions and keep them talking, because they're not interested in your opinion. And eventually they'll trip over their own logic.
No, of course. That's usually how it goes. Yeah.
Keep them talking.
Yeah. So I guess to end it off, because it is getting late. It's 11:17 Pacific Standard Time. I gotta make money tomorrow. I think we should end off on the China AI and the fact that the bubble may have popped. And there's been a gigantic meltdown among the Silicon Valley tech bros over it. And I mean, there's literally so fucking much that has happened in the past week in terms of what
you want to hear what Fox Business has to say about it?
Let's go for it. Let's start with that. Let's do that.
Fox Business is going to give us a little bit of a.
Of course, let's
see just launched a new AI model to rival OpenAI, and it is called DeepSeek. It's raising questions about U.S. dominance in artificial intelligence. Madison's always been looking at this, but first of all, what exactly does DeepSeek do?
Yeah, absolutely, Stu. So it's an AI model and has a corresponding chatbot like ChatGPT of OpenAI, and it has significantly narrowed the gap between the U.S. and China when it comes to artificial intelligence. DeepSeek is the brainchild of a small group of researchers working for a Chinese hedge fund manager that have been able to produce technology that is on par with OpenAI and Google, even though those companies are sinking billions of dollars and years into development. Meanwhile, DeepSeek did it for cheaper in a couple of months with fewer chips. So on January 20th, DeepSeek introduced R1. This is an AI model that reasons, so it can do complex problem solving. It thinks through the problem, essentially. Silicon Valley advisor to President Trump, Mark Ryan, said, quote, DeepSeek R1
don't tell Megan what to do.
And impressive breakthroughs I've ever
Only
seen.
I
also open source.
can tell Megan what to do.
Training one of its latest models costs just $5.6 million. Compare that to the $100 million that Anthropic used last year. As a result, tech stocks dipping today. You see them all in the red there. DeepSeek's AI model has raised serious questions about American dominance in the space. It has rattled chip stocks because DeepSeek claims to have used just around 2,000 NVIDIA chips to train its V3 model. Compare that to the tens of thousands of chips used for US models. But there are also questions around whether China is underreporting how much money and how much computing power they're using. Skepticism from Elon Musk as well. He says that there's no way they're able to do it with this amount of chips. DeepSeek's latest batch of Model V3 also won't answer political questions about China or Xi Jinping. And this is likely a similar setup to TikTok, right? When we talk about that issue, the concern there is that information used is sent to their servers in China. But this is an important distinction I want to get to. Because DeepSeek is open source, essentially it means that developers in the US can use the code and programming locally on their computers if they have enough computing power. So that means
because
that you can run it here
OpenAI
without
was
this
open
concern
source
of American data being sent to China. So the biggest concern is the eroding American share of the AI market. We are unseating US dominance in the space. And I think we saw quickly a full screen. It's risen in the charts in terms of US use, so much so that people are having issues accessing DeepSeek today because of how many downloads it has.
It's like a pivotal moment, isn't it?
Incredibly, there you have it. Incredibly pivotal. We are so far ahead of China before this news that we were just miles, and now we're not. And then there's, as you've been mentioning throughout the morning, the concerns around how much money does this actually take?
Yep.
Because we've been investing so much money, infrastructure, power, and China, DeepSeek is claiming that they've really slashed that. So how does that work?
It's fascinating.
Oh man, what are we gonna do?
No, for real. Okay.
What are we gonna do?
Are you? Do you want to pull up my latest video? I actually kind of go over this a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah. So if you go to my channel, it's my market video. I put this out literally like 24 hours ago. It's a
Trump's terrifying first. No, that's
no. That's my live stream
that's
right now.
the market is about to tank.
Yep, that's it. Yep.
Yeah, I think I saw. I watched this.
Me
We'll watch
later.
it again. Let's do it.
Restricted China's access to good computer chips. There's no way they could have done this with such mediocre chips.
Hey everybody, what's up? This is be a quick video. I didn't want to do any editing. I just want to get this video out as quick as possible. It's January 26th. Markets open up tomorrow, Monday, January 27th, and they are going to crash. Why is it going to crash? The AI bubble has very likely popped. It's been a very it's been a very eventful week for a whole lot of reasons. And if you watch this channel, you know that I don't really do much in terms of economic coverage, which I honestly should do more of. You come here for the live streams. You come here for the Left Coast or
Left Coast Live.
Anyway, so the NASDAQ is probably going to fall off a cliff tomorrow because of
And
the
it did.
new AI put out by China called.
Can you pause it real quick?
Now, I'm going to show you a couple tweets.
Yeah, China put out an AI model called DeepSeek, and $1 trillion were lost in the stock market today. And
Just because of this?
yes, yep. Apparently more than that. Apparently more. But yeah, go ahead.
Here in a video that basically go over the gist of how DeepSeek is just so much cheaper, and way more efficient than the American tech that we have here. It has been my belief for a long time now that AI is overinflated, overhyped. There's way too much money being pumped into it by tech oligarchs and billionaires. It's just another new shiny thing to get investors interested and just dump billions into, despite it not being worth that much at all. And I think we're about to see the consequences of this play out before us. Let me go ahead and make myself
And
smaller.
we have
Spindles at my feet.
$1 trillion plus.
As you guys might have found out,
gone.
or maybe you're
Gone.
following the news, earlier this week, Stargate, a $500 billion AI project, was unveiled by Donald Trump and will exclusively and only serve OpenAI. And if you don't know about OpenAI, they actually there was a whistleblower that was actually
so much money
killed not too long ago. I think a month or so ago for spilling secrets about them and how they've been massively breaking copyright law, among other things. But yeah, this is according to the Financial Times. If you guys haven't seen that unveiling video of Stargate, I think it was like day
The
2
whole
or day
month,
3
yeah.
of Trump taking office. It was an announcement made by him as well as Larry Ellison, Sam Altman, I think some other guy, I forget the guy's name off the top of my head currently, but $500 billion for an AI infrastructure project. And what have we got for groceries and eggs and gas and whatnot so far? I think jack squat. So that says a whole lot about the priorities of this new tech feudalism reality that's going to be implemented by the Trump administration's second term. But
don't worry, Ryan.
I wonder how fruitful that's going to turn out,
We
because
still appreciate
China
you.
releasing DeepSeek a day
Make
after
sure you
this
tune
is
into our
hilarious.
next live streams.
And posted by the serfs responding to who is this guy? I don't
Can you
know.
pause it real quick?
So not only is
There are many AI companies. I think once more comes out on this real or fake, it won't be so much. That's actually wrong. There are potentially dozens, if not hundreds, of AI startups that have to shut down because of this fucking innovation by China, because DeepSeek exists now, and AI can be powered by such less money and lower power than a U.S. Um, companies like OpenAI, ChatGPT, etc. This is like why the fuck would anybody invest in those companies for billions when this Chinese company DeepSeek can be invested in for like maybe it's just like a few million. But go ahead. More
Faster than
is
OpenAI.
explain about this. Yeah.
It uses a fraction of the energy, but only costs $6 million, and they gave it away for free. All of Silicon Valley has been lying to the world to justify billions of taxpayer dollars, our money, being burnt on U.S. NVIDIA chips while needing to crash power grids.
That's
It was
right,
all
Alex.
a lie. And I'm telling you, once the markets open up, you're going to see it tank. You're going to see NASDAQ crash, especially. I'm actually
Which
going to show you
happened.
guys a clip that goes a bit more over the DeepSeek AI thingamajig. And yeah, let's take a look.
About those new Chinese AI models called DeepSeek, because the story is pretty insane. You know, if you want to build powerful AI models, you need powerful AI chips. And there's basically one company that produces them, and it's an American company called NVIDIA. Now, since those chips are so valuable today, the US government prohibits NVIDIA from selling those chips to Chinese companies. So you might be thinking, well, how the hell did they manage then to create a model that is more powerful than OpenAI's?
More powerful than OpenAI. So think about how just think about how prominent OpenAI and ChatGPT has been for the last year plus, and just how many billions upon billions of dollars in investment money has just been thrown at all of this stuff. It's so prominent. It's everywhere. We didn't ask for this. The consumers didn't ask for this to be
Stealing
in all the
chips? I
software,
don't know
all
about
the
that,
new
Megan.
phones, on social media. It's so prevalent, and nobody asked for it. But
if you can
we're gonna
provide a
continue
bit
here.
more
Listen to this.
information on that,
And that's when it
I'd
gets
appreciate
interesting.
that.
So they could put that is more powerful than OpenAI's. That's when it gets interesting. So they could put their hands on a very limited number of NVIDIA chips, but not enough to create a powerful model. So what they did is they made some insane technical innovation to make training of those models extremely more efficient, which means that they use like 1/100th of the resources that OpenAI or Microsoft or Google use to create AI models. But you know what is even more insane? It's a huge F off to a lot of American companies. They created those amazing AI models and then they open source them, which means that
they open source these models.
they told the world, hey, not only I will tell you exactly how we did this so you can do this again, we're also going to give you the output. We're going to give you the code of these AI models so you can do whatever you want with them.
Yeah.
Which basically means that now the value of a lot of OpenAI models has gone down a lot because there's a free alternative that is better.
Yes. So this right here is going to be the catalyst for a major market correction. And even my dad was saying how this is probably going to lead to a domino effect, because keep in mind, a lot of economists, a lot of experts that have been following the economy for a while. Are we going to make a soft landing? Are we going to avoid
Dude,
a
you're
recession,
fucking funny as
pandemic?
fuck.
But it didn't matter who was going to take office. A major correction was going to come, and this might be the trigger for all of it. He's saying it might be comparable to the .com bubble that led to a recession.
China is innovating like crazy. And by the way, since this idea that this specific Chinese company that you're watching this video from might be banned, I think maybe it's a good idea to start following the people who give you value also on the social media platforms. So if you want to keep following me in case this goes out, that's my Instagram where I keep posting content as well. And maybe some also some personal stories. So that might be something fun as well to check out. Peace.
Yeah. So this is a major deal, and I think more and more people should be aware of it, so you know exactly how to approach this sort of thing. And I mean, you reap what you sow, right? You lie so much about this hot new commodity that you want so much investment money in, but really you're over exaggerating the value of it. You're inflating the value of it, and
not the
China
first
just
no, of course not the first time.
Laid it all out like, oh, you're entirely full of shit, and the market's going to respond to that. And I guess we'll find out tomorrow just how damaging it's going to be, because
apparently it's been pretty damaging.
This might be the thing that pushes us over the edge into a recession, because this is going to affect a lot of industries.
Okay,
that have
so
not only invested money in AI but have ties to AI generally.
No, honestly, no, because okay, Braven. So the only thing, the thing about that is Deter hasn't seen that video yet. I put it out last night. But yeah, no, absolutely though. You're completely correct, because that whole entire video came to fruition. Like $1 trillion fucking dollars just gone. Just disappeared just like that, because so many investors put all their money into NVIDIA
Yeah.
And these AI companies that were like, this is the the shiny new toy. This is the biggest and best thing. This is gonna change the world. And of course, that didn't come to be because China just showed everybody the fuck up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Too bad Nvidia wasn't
Okay,
the
Megan.
messiah of technology, right?
No, for real. Megan, I fucking appreciate you so fucking much. Have yourself a cig, take yourself to bed. Talk to you tomorrow.
We're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah. This is pretty much the last.
Well,
of the
why don't we comment? Well, I guess we're going to live Wednesday, and we've got 2 weeks to discuss
if
it.
if that works for you, yeah, I'm down.
Yeah,
I'm
no, but
definitely down
I
for
wanted
Wednesday.
to touch on the results of the NFL games this weekend because while the Eagles
are
just
illegals are.
What?
Just to respond to Megan, you're mad.
Oh,
you're
sure.
mad. Private companies also gamble. I'm not mad at money's going to illegals. Just saying. I mean, these private companies have fucking like hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, to fucking dispose, whereas illegals have fucking nothing. So, like, of course, I'm going to fucking. There's going to be a fucking difference in my tone approaching these.
Yeah, Megan,
these
we're pro UBI here. Like we want,
of course. Like
we want a nice.
I think
we want
like at this point, I think Andrew Yang was ahead of his fucking time. Like when it came to when it came to 2022, especially, the indices that he proposed, aside from GDP to measure the health of an economy, the health of a society and shit. Yeah, and the UBI is essential for that shit. Yeah, so like it's gonna be a very interesting next 4 years, so long as
No, Megan, we're not mad when U.S. taxpayers lose their gamble. I mean, no, we're not. This
No.
is the market.
No,
This is
for
the market
real.
working.
Yes,
this is the market
this is
working.
how it
right?
works.
yeah.
It's-
Well,
yeah.
We're not suggesting that this is anything else other than comeuppance. This is
for real. Like you overinflate and overvalue a fucking commodity that is so entrenched in so much tech nowadays. It's a bubble that's going to pop. And
well, that's one thing you can learn from Judaism and Christianity, which is don't worship false gods because we worship the false god of the tech billionaire.
No,
I mean,
and
it's
they're
just-
all surrounding Trump. Like, and
Yeah.
that's how it's going to be for the next fucking 4 years plus, because these fucking tech feudalism, these fucking oligarchs want to be gods, and they think that they like the power to like obtain what they want is through kowtowing and capitulating to the fucking president of the United States, who is so fucking sensitive to whoever it is that can stroke his fucking ego, whether it's a fucking like the tech
Like a child.
oligarchs,
Like
or
a child.
Yeah, exactly. He's a fucking child. You make him feel fucking smart. You make him feel good about himself. He'll do whatever the fuck. Honestly, it goes beyond the fucking tech oligarchs of Silicon Valley or Larry Ellison or Sam Altman or whoever the fuck. Like Putin fucking understands this. Putin 100% understands this shit.
No, Putin's a bright guy.
No, yeah.
Putin's a very evil. He's
Yeah.
one of those evil. He's one of those evil genius types.
Yeah.
He just has no morals. That's the thing about like good versus evil is that good, it requires a lot more complex of an effort to win when you're on the side of good, because evil, they have so many weapons at their disposal. They can lie, cheat, and steal and pit people against each other. I mean, that's it's like, oh, Trump's so brilliant. Well, no, Trump's not brilliant. He's just shameless. And he says and does things that he just doesn't give a shit about the rules.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about decorum. He doesn't care about what the norms of political discourse are. And that's emblematic of people thinking that the system is broken. They say, well, let's throw a Molotov cocktail of a human being into the system and see if it gets any better. And it didn't. It got worse.
Right.
Loaded him back in.
Right.
Our addiction is white trash ignorance.
It really is. To end this off, Alex says the terrorists are trying to limit their technology. Yeah, it's fairly new. I'm sure that the U.S. will learn and bounce back into the race. Yes, but a shitload of money is going to be lost. That's for goddamn sure. It's gonna be embarrassing for goddamn sure, because what China did with the open source technology, it put the U.S. in its place. It's gonna take a minute, but like the fact that they tried to make AI seem like it was way more valuable than it is going to play a big part in this. Raven T says
the market overvaluing something.
Yeah,
wow.
Of course, yeah.
Imagine that.
No, for real.
Imagine
yeah,
that.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, exactly.
All right, man. Well, do you have any parting words? You can have the last word if you want. I'm ready to sign off.
That's really true. We didn't even cover half of Trump's executive orders for the week, but
we're coming back Wednesday. We'll
come back Wednesday. So hopefully we'll see everybody who's here right now as we sign off there on Wednesday. Come say hi. We really look forward to it, and we'll see within these next couple of days, I guess, just how much worse it gets.
For StatPat, I am Deter McBusiness, reminding you that you don't get change in America by asking nicely.
So
Democrats, stop asking nicely.
For fuck's sake. Yeah, of course. Everybody have a good night. We'll see you on Wednesday.
All right, cool. Done.